I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good morning, Western Hemisphere, or good evening, Western Hemisphere, and good morning to those in Europe and Africa and Asia. It's Chris live once again from Central Pennsylvania for our late night broadcast. We're doing these right now as events unfold and stories are told about the situation between South Africa and the United States. Not much new to report tonight about that, but we'll talk about that. I also watched a video a short while ago, and wow, I see now even Citizen Concern has delved into the propaganda world. That's unfortunate after I promoted her yesterday, and now she's doing propaganda. I need to drink more or develop solid sleeping patterns. I get plenty of sleep. Richard Kuhn, welcome to you. Marius, Salem's Cave, Jeantel, Van Heerden, good morning to you. 1 of 44. Arctic, my sleep patterns are based on events unfolding, and so you have to cover what's covered. I also have a strong feeling that the momentum has died off now. I think a lot of people have been checking out the channel just to see, because they assumed I had answers on this policy, which I don't have, and nobody has. So I fear that we're losing traction here, but hopefully it'll come back. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive videos of reduced views, although the live streams have been pretty big, so hopefully they'll come back here. Anyway, so we'll see. Super Bowl sucks. Worked my butt off to get all the pissed off Chiefs fans home. Trying to navigate South Africa being in Perth plus all the happenings. Well, my sleep patterns aren't messed up. It's just a consequence of, South Africa's 7 hours ahead of me, and that's the focus of my broadcast for most of the stuff. So Richard Kuhn, Marius Ventus, Salem's Cave, Jeantel, 1440. Patrick is here. William Janssen van Rensburg is here. And the Unfiltered South. We woke up to a cool and wet Pretoria this morning. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing. A very frightening situation in Arizona, ladies and gentlemen, where a plane on a landing apparently belongs to Vince Neil of Motley Crue. This plane crashed. It looks like the landing gear collapsed on it, and it careened off of the runway and into another parked aircraft. One person has died. One fatality this morning in Arizona. It's the third aviation incident that's gotten news media attention in the past week or so, starting with the mid-air collision, then the Philadelphia flight, and now this. Questions will begin to be raised about aviation safety as 3 crashes in such quick succession are certainly going to get the world's attention. Let's take a look at this actual footage from the airfield in Arizona. Wow. One person, as I said, one fatality, dead in this horrible situation. Fortunately, no explosion, though. So watch the plane landing here, and you'll see it as it looks like the wheel comes off, and then it slides and careens into an aircraft. Wow. That is hectic. I don't know who died, if it was the pilot or it was, but you got to imagine some pretty frightening stuff there. They've got quite a bit of airspeed landing. A 4th aircraft crashed in Alaska a couple days ago. Okay, I didn't see that. Thank you. Yeah. So they kindly drew an arrow on here. You can see the plane coming in, and you hear it when the landing gear snaps off. You can hear, and then you see it start to slide off, and that aircraft was parked on the far side. Let's watch this again, ladies and gentlemen. Arizona air crash. Here comes landing. That's what lost the wheel. And I see him trying to control it, but there's no control. It's just... And one person has passed away in that accident. Horrible situation there. Wow. As I said, apparently that aircraft belongs to Vince Neil of Motley Crue. That's some pretty scary stuff there, folks. Pretty scary stuff. Clag sample of an airport that's been able to keep up with demand. Parked aircraft should be much further away from an active runway. Yeah, I thought so too, Arctic. They shouldn't be that close. But what runway was that? What airfield was that? Oh, that's Scottsdale. Okay. Yeah, need a parachute, emergency brake. There's nothing you can do in that one. You're screwed. Tobias Foppen says, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Well, that is scary, Jeantel. It is pretty scary because there's not really, you're screwed. Oh, KSDL, okay. Yeah, there's really not much you can do with that, is there? Jeez. Yeah, Arctic says, wait till State Party issues more info on all the staffers or viewers will be back because they want to try too lazy to wait for fourth aircraft crash in Alaska. Okay, so Les Van Ice, welcome to you. And Moon Dancer, hello to you. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. I'm not going to do a 3-hour broadcast tonight, but we will be covering some events that have broken. So I have the advantage of being 7 hours ahead of South Africa, so I'm breaking some of this news to you guys. By the way, I will tell you here now, I stand corrected. So when I mistakenly believed and said that I was the first person to break to South Africa the news that President Trump had signed that executive order granting granting refugee status to Afrikaners being persecuted based on race, when I thought I broke that story, it turns out that my decision to wait until 11 p.m. so that I would catch an audience in South Africa at 6 a.m. Didn't work out so well because Isak over on Newspod actually broke the story at 5 a.m. So give Isak the credit. I didn't know better. So someone came on here and said, Isak broke the news. I said, no, I broke it first. And apparently he broke it at 5 a.m. So there you go. Yeah, but no, that's why I waited till 6 a.m. Film. I could have done this. I could have done it at 3 a.m. for you guys. I already knew it then, but I waited until people would be up. From Little 5 for refugee status come with strict limitation on travel, keeping your Southern citizenship travel. Yeah, there are lots of restrictions on it. And in fact, there is a scare tactic article from News 24 today trying to frighten people about it. So we're going to talk about that. Again, here's that story coming out of Arizona. 1 dead, several injured after Vince Neal's private jet veers off a runway in Scottsdale. Vince Neal was not on board the aircraft. At about 2:45 p.m., multiple emergency crews responded to reports of emergency at the airport near Scottsdale and Thunderbird roads. Appears that the left main landing gear failed as it was landing, causing the collision. 1 person was dead when the fire crews arrived. Brett Michaels, frontman for the rock band Poison, who is friends with Neal, posted on Facebook that it was the pilot who died and another pilot was hurt. I was relieved to hear that my friend Vince Neal was not on board at the time of the incident. I often fly out of the Scottsdale airport, and my heartfelt sympathy goes out to all those involved. 3 others were treated for various injuries in a nearby hospital. A 5th person refused treatment. Mr. Neal's thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved, and he is grateful for the critical aid of all first responders. Yeah, folks, it just brings home. This just brings home the point that when the crew tells you to take a seat and buckle up as you prepare for landing, you do that, and you put all your tray tables in the forward position in case you have to go in the crash position. So listen to the instructions from the crew. It's for your safety. Some people are stubborn and difficult on flights about that sort of thing. Yeah. Good morning to Susan Koster and W.F. Seeley. Celebrating the announcement 3 hours before you went live. Yeah, I know, Arctic. Well, you're in the States right now, but I waited. Like I said, I waited 3 hours. I could have done it 3 hours sooner, but people would have not been up at that hour. It turns out they were up. I didn't expect to have the audience that I had. Or did I do that at 8:30? When did I do that? Did I announce at 8:30? I have to go back and check when I did that. What time did I do that? I don't remember. I have to double check on that. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I did do it first, but I think maybe he did it. Anyway, not a big deal. Thanks for your honesty. Well, again, now I'm confused. I might have actually done it first. Doesn't matter. Who's Isak? He's got another podcast or another show. Well, I heard it here, Chris. Yeah, most people heard it here first. I don't know. I've finished dinner and 6 drinks. Hypocrisy is the MK leaders committed treason, the arms deal. Yeah, no, not just that. So I did a video earlier, and it was on my phone, so it didn't automatically monetize it. It was only a minute and a half. And because it wasn't monetized, they didn't show it to anybody. So it only has 2,000 views. YouTube. So I caught later on that it had been monetized, and now I've monetized it, but I've missed the window. Anyway, I pointed out the irony of Duduzile Zuma Sambudla being charged with with terrorism. And her father's party and the party she's a member of are suing or filing charges against, against the AfriForum for treason, which is comical to say the least. Anyway, so, right. That's a terrible situation in Arizona. 2 planes collide Arizona airport. No, 1 plane collided into another. It wasn't 2 planes colliding. It makes it sound like that plane was moving. But that plane was parked and the door was open on it. You can see that this thing was just smacked in half. There's the fuselage. Man, mid-aircraft. Wow. Veered off the runway in Scottsdale after part of its landing gear failed, causing the crash of a parked business jet on a tarmac. killing the pilot. Oof. It's a Lear 35 Alpha. My goodness. It hit the larger Gulfstream 200. Now that Gulfstream is going to be toast. That'll never be airworthy again. That's unfortunate. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic Alliance has, to great fanfare yesterday, taken the expropriation without compensation bill to court. Unfortunately, they're not contesting it over nil compensation. Probably knowing they'll lose this case, and they can say, see, we tried to stop it. Wow. I've never even been on a plane with everything going on in the sky. I don't think I will be anytime soon. Hope there will be a boat going USA. There's no boats coming here. Do you ever sleep? Thanks for your effort and your love for Afrikaners. You, sir, are a hero to all of us. Well, thank you for that, Dolph. But it's not just Afrikaners I care about. But thank you for that. Yeah. Irony left South Africa in 2003. Yeah, only moronic is left. Yeah, Patrick says he thinks Isaac had it. Well, that's what I meant. I think Isaac got it first, so whatever. But I have to go check the time because now I'm confused. Did I go live at 8:30? I think I went live as soon as I don't remember. Anyway, maybe I'm confused. Things doesn't really matter. Saw that. Thought it was very funny. Too little, too late. Yeah, it is too little, too late. The DA is too little, too late, and they're not convincing anybody with this bullshit. The DA doesn't tackle nil compensation. The Democratic Alliance Federal Council chairperson Helen Zille, like Punxsutawney Phil, emerged from her winter hiding place to show the world that I'm here. There'll be 6 more weeks of winter. Yes, Punxsutawney Phil, or Helen Zille, emerged from her hiding place, and they filed a court application to the Western Cape High Court challenging the Expropriation Act. In the court papers filed on Friday, she argues that the act was passed by Parliament contrary to Section 65, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution and the Mandating Procedures Provinces Act 52 of 2008. In her affidavit, Helen Zille argues that 4 of the 7 provincial delegations that voted in favor of the expropriation bill had no authority to do so. Sounds like a technicality. The move presents a predicament for the DA as its leader, Minister of Agriculture John Steenhuisen, has raised his hand to be part of Ramaphosa's machinery to try to convince the world, to hoodwink the world, especially the United States, that the South African government is not grabbing land. It really doesn't matter whether the South African government is grabbing land or not. It's not about land. See how the whole thing is distracted? It's about land. It's not about land, folks. It's about political control and oppression and your pension funds and your buckies and your flats and your houses and everything you own. See how they've successfully... Here's some of the arguments they've come up with that are simply bullshit. Well, there are no large-scale confiscations. Of course not. The bill was still got wet ink on it. White South Africans are not victims. Really? Then why do you need 142 race-based laws if they're not victims? I mean, why do you need that? You got the majority of the country, 80% of the country is black. You control the government, you control politics, you control the military, you control the justice, you control the police, you control the Minister of Finance. Why do you need 142 laws to privilege the majority of the population? What is that all about? Yeah. So, yeah, bunch of crap. He's still counting the apples to Taiwan, exactly. Remember, politicians are people that failed at being employed in the private sector. Ding, 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 ding. Yep. Good morning, Orc Fenter. Was wondering why Auntie Zilla did it instead of Johnny. Yeah, well, that's so he gets top cover. He doesn't want to upset his boss. Cyril Ramaphosa. Meneer Palapala. Hello, meneer Palapala. Goeiemorgen, meneer Palapala. Ek is gatvol van die Amerikaner. Curiously, in the court application, the Democratic Alliance is not challenging the nil compensation provision of the act, which is what the problem is. There's no reason for this law, except they included nil compensation, which for those that don't speak English, it means zero. It means nothing. She suggested that it would have been more difficult to prove the unconstitutionality of the section than the case her party is pursuing, and that's a load of malarkey. It's much easier to prove the nil compensation because the Constitution says specifically it must include just and reasonable compensation. Zero is not just or reasonable. That's not compensation. That's no compensation. Offer me $3 million a year and cover all my expenses. I ain't doing jack to help the rest of y'all. Artie is so selfish. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. She said, when you go to take a case when you take a court case to challenge an act, you go for the simplest, cleanest cut method. The process point is so strong and clear and easy to argue that if we can get the act thrown out on this basis, then we go for the path of least resistance. What? The path of least resistance is the obvious. Nil equals zero. Section 25 of the Constitution, promulgated in 1996, requires compensation. Zero is not compensation. Idiots. Curso Vaxxer says, culture war nonsense distracts. Exactly. Gen pop from the real enemy. Mega wealthy, limited resources, limited money, limited power. The mega wealthy are not the real enemy. There are no such thing as limited resources. There is no limited money. The government prints more and more, and there is plenty of power. That's the problem. That's not selfish. Bitcoin Bot is back, and he says, is it true that 17% of Afrikaners already signed up? I don't have that information. I find that hard to believe. 17% of 2.8 million would be 340 plus, and that would be over 500,000 Afrikaners. I don't know where someone's getting that figure from. Is it me going mad? Nil equals zero. Exactly, Patrick. What else does nil mean? I looked it up in the dictionary just to put in my video so people would understand. Yep. Trumpy may just sign more stuff before he goes to bed. Oh, 17,000. Did I misread that? My apologies. Oh, okay. You did say 17,000. I saw 17%. Yeah, that's what's being reported by Neil Diamond and the South African Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, that 17,000. My apologies. I misread that. Nil means not zero in politics. Apparently, no. So, Andrew Thompson for News 24 is writing a scare you story, telling people basically, don't go for the refugee thing because it's just so difficult. It is, and that's what I caution people. But hey, some people are desperate, and they'll be welcome to take this up if they want. If you get refugee status in the U.S., you'll likely have to kiss South Africa goodbye, possibly for good, says Andrew Thompson. Now, Andrew Thompson writes this based off of existing law and other programs, but doesn't really say that this may not be the case with this program. So, but let's go ahead and take a look what he's got to say. There's not an infinite amount of it. But there is, Corsovax, there is. Pretty soon we'll be passing asteroids, latching onto them with a carbon fiber cable, and having a lift that goes up to space in geosynchronous orbit around the planet and extracts platinum and rare earth elements and iron and nickel and cobalt and gold and diamonds from asteroids. Diamonds are girl's best friend. And we'll have all the resources we want. Now, the concern I have is that if we do that into perpetuity, won't all that extra weight eventually slow down the Earth with more drag, and then our days will get longer and our seasons will be screwed up? Yep, just saying. It's not limited. People say that all the time. Oh, oil is a fungible commodity. True, and it's limited. We've reached peak oil. We've reached peak oil more times than Cyril Ramaphosa stuffed money in a mattress. But I get your point. Things are limited. Yeah, there's only so much. But the thing is that most of the minerals that people need, there's more of them in the bottom of the ocean, at the ocean floor, than there is mined on land at this point. The ocean floor is a bounty. The question is, do we exploit it? Which a lot of people are opposed to. So, but yeah, everything's eventually run out of stuff. Unless you're the ANC, there's an infinite amount, not indefinite. It is not infinite. There's an unlimited amount of excuses. Unlimited amount of excuses. Elon says Mara has everything we need. I have no idea what that is. That dude needs to pick a new name. No way I'm taking a dude. No, exactly. They come to America. We are centuries away from space elevators, not in our lifetime. Don't let Twitch brothers sell you their sci-fi nonsense. We'll be having space elevators before we even have a mission to Mars. Make a bet on it. Thank you for your subscription, G-Talk. I mean, neither one of us will be here when it comes to real, so maybe the Mars might happen. Okay, so he says the offer, which theoretically allows eligible Afrikaans farmers free passage. So already it's fake news. It's already fake news. See, this is a scare tactic. This is News 24's propaganda because, if you don't have the facts, you shouldn't be bullshitting people. And this guy, Andrew Thompson, doesn't have the facts. This is bullshit. It's a misleading story. Now, In theory, of course, it would offer farmers, but also offer bakers and butchers and candlestick makers and toll booth operators and retailers, anybody that's an Afrikaner that has been abused. Here he says Afrikaans farmers. That's only a partial truth, and it's a partial truth meant to mislead and deceive the public into making think that this is all about farmers. It's not about farmers. No. Those are lies perpetrated by fake news aficionados. Boy, that focus keeps going in and out. So I have to say, rum and tequila mix better. Okay. All right. So let me get back to that story there. Okay. Obtaining a refugee status. So the offer, which theoretically allows eligible Afrikaans farmers free patches in the United States, has raised some consternation even among those intended to benefit. It also raises more questions than answers, such as how the U.S. government will identify Afrikaans people facing discrimination and whether applying Afrikaner landowners meet the criteria of having a well-founded fear of being persecuted. First off, it's not about Afrikaner landowners, Andrew. Second, a well-founded fear, you don't have to have a well-founded fear. You just have to have a fear. Fear. And there are well-founded fears. Shall we talk about Brendan Horner, Edward Neumeister, and Brown family? And the thousands of South Africans murdered on farms? I think that's a very well-founded fear. Still, South Africans seeking refugee status abroad is not an entirely foreign concept. Statistics South Africa estimates the current number of South African refugees living elsewhere is over 4,000, with the majority seeking asylum in the United States, Ireland, Australia, Canada, Israel, and the United Kingdom. The most notorious race-based asylum-seeking case is that of the Brendan Huntley, who sought refuge by arguing that black criminals targeted whites. He initially got it, but was later rescinded. Under current U.S. law, a refugee is someone who's located outside. I read all this, so let's see how he misleads people. Understandably, the United States House of Representatives also offers a long and comprehensive definition of the term refugee. Spouses and unmarried children under 21 do not automatically qualify for the same protection as the applicant. Well, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that. Now, he gives a link here, and let's see where the link goes to. So, you may petition for the following family members. If you entered the United States as a refugee within the last 2 years or granted within the past 2 years, you may petition for certain family members. So, that's if you've already gone into the United States within 2 years. See how misleading and fake news that is? If you apply with your family, you can be granted it. But he is trying to frighten people because he says its own fine print conditions. Well, you're not reading the fine print there, Andrew Thompson. You didn't read the fine print. I just exposed you. That statement is about people who've already entered the United States as a refugee who came without their family. And how does that happen? Well, very simple. If you're fleeing from conflict in Syria and you wind up in Turkey, you might wind up in a different refugee camp than your family because you're separated because of ISIS, killing people en route, and you get split. And you don't know where your family is. So you're granted a refugee status, you come to America, and then they find your family in Turkey within 2 years, and you apply for them to come over. What a crock. This is fake news. Wow. Yeah, and that link is, well, but that's right. That isn't relevant to the program. That's the whole thing I said. We don't know the conditions of the program, but these are existing conditions for the program in the past. So anyway, Freddie Mare, welcome to you. Corso says an Afrikaans family fled to the U.S. and leached off a family for months. Remember that story? The poorest and lowest skilled Afrikaners are coming. Big cost to U.S. taxpayers. Well, Corso, no more so than the 160,000 unskilled Afghans who were flooded into my country in a matter of 30 days, just a couple years ago, or 90 days. Yeah, at least they have similar interest in cultural trends. So take your pick. And besides, we're kicking 30 million criminal aliens out whom we're paying for, many of them now. And so, it'll be better than a wash. We'll come out ahead. Lucum farm murders up drastically in 25. What are Lucum farm members? Farm murders, excuse me. Did some research last night. Should you purchase a green card via investment? It could cost $500,000. You can't purchase a green. Oh, you mean invest? Okay. You don't purchase. Okay. When you say purchase, that makes it sound like you're going through a broker to get you one. No. Essentially a free gift from Trump after 1 year being there. What's a free gift after 1 year? What do you mean by free gift there, Johann Barkhuizen? Yeah, okay. If you come into America on a visa and investment, you do have to put a lot of money in. Well, same thing in Malta. Same thing in many places. Montenegro, you don't have to put much money in the way of investment. But 2 dead in 2025. What's that, Luke? Oh, he was writing to you. Okay. Oh, you didn't put the ad. I thought that was a word. Got it. Yeah, nil is nil. They do understand. They're just lying to people, just like all these things. Whites are not suppressed. I'm going to give you an Al Jazeera article here in a moment. Anyway, let me continue with this. Okay, if the box is checked, refugees may become eligible for U.S. citizenship after a prescribed period. You must apply for a green card after 1 year. Okay, he says they're legally entitled to work. That's correct. You must apply for a green card with 1 year. Of course. So what? What's the problem? While U.S. refugee status is designated to offer protection for those fleeing persecution, it might appeal to some South Africans looking to resettle. There are legal consequences for accepting this, which can be rescinded if any contraventions or extenuating circumstances are found. Yes, if you're a criminal. One factor that may affect Afrikaans refugees in America is travel restrictions. Asylum applicants and even lawful permanent residents who obtain their status based on their successful refugee application are subject to special rules when traveling outside the United States. To travel, all refugees must apply for appropriate travel documents essential for re-entry into the United States. Yeah, and so what? Matters further complicated for Afrikaans refugees who may wish to temporarily return to South Africa for a holiday or check on the farm, for example. Even with a green card earned after extended period in the United States as a refugee, the applicant risks having their status terminated or re-entry denied should they casually travel between the two countries. Well, yeah, because you fled the country. What, do you think we're going to let you go back on holiday to South Africa? No. Once you become an American citizen, it's different. Yep. Termination can also occur due to fraud in the asylum process. Well, it's not an asylum application, it's a refugee application, but yes, fraud would terminate. Absolutely. Yeah, anyway, so some fake news here or misinterpretation by Andrew Thompson. So he's just not quite getting the story straight there. All right, white victimhood. Now, isn't it ironic that we keep hearing in every sentence that we have to understand the historical colonial history and dispossession and apartheid and respect that. Black people are victims. Black people are victims. Black people are victims. That's all we hear every freaking day, right? I mean, that's why you need expropriation of compensation, because black people are victims of apartheid, right? So look at this garbage coming from Al Jazeera. Thank you for the super chat there. Monolithic Ethos, $2. South Africa doesn't recognize dual citizenship. Well, legally, the United States doesn't either, but they tend to look the other way. So, but a lot of South Africans have 2 passports. Same thing. People look the other way. White victimhood to the G20. What's behind Trump's attacks? Trump's freeze on aid to South Africa caps years of growing tension over everything from Russia and China to Israel. Now, that's correct. And both sides could lose if tensions grow further. Except that's not true. Both sides don't lose. What are we going to lose? But the aid block is only the culmination of a series of pressure points between the U.S. and South Africa that were building even before the administration of former President Biden and have now exploded under Trump. Yep. What's the truth about the land law? Well, Al Jazeera's Kanana Hunter, who works for South African media, she's not Al Jazeera's, in explaining a piece, South Africa's government has insisted there has been no forcible confiscation of land and that any expropriation that happens will constitutionally mandate legal process. Okay, we can play this silly game all day long. It's constitutionally mandated, but that doesn't make it legal or legitimate. So you pass a law that lets you take land with no compensation. So then you come to the landowner and you offer them a lowball price for land, and they're not interested in selling. It's their family. Their family's been living for 150 years. Why should they move? They have a successful dairy farm. Why should they move? They bought the land legally, or they traded for it from the Basotho people. They purchased it from Basotho people in the Free State. They have a dairy farm. Been there 150 years. Why should they move? Because you want their land? So they have to sell it. So you offer them $1 million when it's worth $30 million, and they refuse. So then you say, oh, we're going to take it away. And you go to court that's appointed by the government. The court awards it to the government, and they get nothing, or they get $1 million. What kind of crap is that? That's abuse of power. So Kanana Hunter, your bullshit, and News 24's bullshit, and Al Jazeera's bullshit is not floating. It's not floating. That turd won't float. It just sinks to the bottom because it's bullshit. Yep. Well, Mike, the ANC can't make the argument why they need it. The argument is always, they tried at the beginning, but now it's all turned to race. It's all about white people. It's all about, oh, whites are not oppressed. It's all about, oh, they're lying about people being killed. No, it's bullshit. When they first tried to defend this, they said, well, we need this because land is disused and owners are reticent to give us the land. So we need to take it from them. Well, again, as I said when that argument was made, who are you to determine that land is not used? A good farmer knows that land goes fallow. particularly in poorly watered areas or poor soil quality, so you allow it to lay fallow for a season or two. Also, land is an investment. They're arguing against land being a speculative investment. Why? You can speculate on crude grounds, you can speculate on platinum futures, you can speculate on fuel futures, you can speculate on grain prices. Why can't you speculate on land? People buy houses hoping that they'll increase in value. People buy land hoping it'll increase in value. That's their prerogative. It's nonsense. It's all lies. It's all racist bullshit to distort and confuse people. Keep going. This is invaluable to me. I have to go earn some moolah now. Okay, Johan. Received U.S. aid like BBC Broadcasting. You mean Elle the magazine? Many South Africans keep their South African citizenship after becoming U.S. citizens, so the South African even has a process to follow during the citizenship process to keep South African status. Okay, passing law is the start. Remember when BE was made law only to do business with government, only certain sectors and size companies? Now they try to force it on the private sector. BE is on the private sector, not just for government business. Willem says, Willem Petzer has a video out this morning explaining the official reasons for President Trump's act. Really? Where's it at? Facebook or YouTube? This I got to see. 12 hours ago. Well, he's got one about 90% of farms have been expropriated. And then he's got one about the executive order, more actions to follow. Which one is it? Or maybe there's another one that I missed here. Nearly every single expropriated farm failed. Which one is it? That's 12 hours ago. No, I mean, you don't have to be an American to be able to do some American foreign policy. I mean, I'm not a South African. I can get it. But I'm just skeptical of that source. So, Willem, which video is that? Because I don't see that there. Why does Willem Petzer have a video about him being exposed? It must be a joke. Hey, Charmaine. Who else we got here? YouTube, very interesting. Well, I'm on YouTube. New vid 40 minutes ago. It's not here. Let me go to his videos, list of videos. There's nothing here from 49 minutes ago. The most recent video for Willem Petzer on his channel is from 12 hours ago. Nothing 49 minutes ago. Latest. I'm under latest. It's nothing there. Oh, in Afrikaans. Well, that's not going to help me. I see he's got the Royal Amphitheater up there. Okay. You didn't tell me that. Guys, you have to give the full story. You can't give partial stories. Trump, okay.
Scott Perry supports RFKG.
Oh my God, they're still moaning about Scott Perry. Okay, so yeah. 15 minutes ago. Got it. Okay, you didn't tell me it's an Afrikaans. I mean, that would have been helpful. Yeah, he's jumped from one thing to the other. He was at Senegal. He was, here he is.
Inligtingstuk vrygestel getiteleerd Fact Sheet. President Donald J. Trump addresses the human rights violations in South Africa, waarin hy verduidelik waarom hy die uitvoerende bevel geteken het wat alle hulp na Suid-Afrika.
So he's just reading. Okay, well, maybe there's more to it than that. I don't want to poo-poo on his video. Maybe it's good. I don't know. But I mean, anyway, that's not my place to poo-poo on that. Anyway, but people ask me to get him on the channel. Why do people want me to get on the channel? Does anybody here, why do people ask me to get on the channel? Thank you, Patrick. Why is South Africa even involved in the Congo? Good question, Monolithic. Yeah. I have dyslexia, voice recognition not working right. Huh? Okay. Now British Australians are calling Australia to stop funding South Africa like the States. Good, good. Can we still go to America even after Solidarity said no and spoke for us? Are you being a smartass? Solidarity didn't speak for you. Where are people getting this from? Did they say that in Afrikaans? I watched the English press conference. That's not what AfriForum and Solidarity said. They never said that. People were going all off on them last night and the night before. Oh, they don't speak for me. Who do they think they are? I watched the video. They didn't claim to speak for everybody. They didn't. They speak for their members. And they probably don't even speak for all their members. So I don't know why people thought that. It doesn't matter what AfriForum says. It doesn't matter what Cyril Ramaphosa says. It doesn't matter what Solidarity says. It doesn't matter what the IFP says. What matters is what Donald Trump and the State Department says. Case closed. That's the end of that conversation. Yep. Not between you and me. I'm just saying for the people out there. Michelle Krause, welcome to you. Duvet Thrawn says, now we know Trump knows everything we know. He has the receipts. Where are you getting that from? Did you listen to me on Newspod? Whatever happened to Petzer and Hofmeier's case? And I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. You only need a passport. Yep. Working private security, the things you see on night shift and holidays is terrible. Theft, people faking their heart attacks while their friends steal tires from Buc-ee's at dealerships. Good Lord. Well, there's a lot of things that just fade away. What's going on with Nobs Mkhize and her SAHC case, South African Human Rights Commission? I had a run-in with someone yesterday when I was told to leave. Guys, head down, don't interact, stay safe in a tinderbox. Yeah, exactly. Hello Me says, if Trump loses next election, what will happen? Well, nothing will happen. Or, excuse me, Hello Me, nothing will happen. Donald Trump isn't eligible to run again. He can't be president again. It's over. He served a term. This is his second term. We have a constitutional amendment which limits presidents to 2 terms. That's it. Since the end of the Second World War, we've limited presidents to 2 terms under our constitutional amendment. So it doesn't matter. There's no election. That's why Trump is moving at the pace he's going, because he doesn't care. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to run for re-election. He does what he needs to. He's a lame duck president, and he's not going lame. He's acting strong. South African CBC is stirring up with such false headlines. Oh, they are, Freya. Oh, so much false news. I've reported a bunch of their fake stuff. Headlines say AfriForum rejects offer on behalf of all South Africans. Neither story nor video confirm that, and at least people believe the headline. Well, that's because they don't read the article, and then they get all pissed off at AfriForum. So I sent a message to Kali Creel and said, hey, you need to know, people came in my stream and they're freaking out. I told them, stop freaking out. Get the facts. Yep. Good morning, Alfonso. ANC mining interest. Oh, you're talking about the Congo. Nikki says, Willem Petzer is well-informed and intelligent. He's been reporting South African farmers' plight for years. Yeah. Never said he didn't. Never said he didn't. After FDR, the U.S. changed exactly to 2-term limit. So, yeah, no, the headlines are all lies. They're all bullshit. And even the stories that purport to tell the truth, like the Andrew Thompson story I just told you about refugee status, he doesn't tell the full story. It's being dishonest there. Anyway, back to Kanana Hunter. The South African law bars the arbitrary takeover of land and provides for compensation in most cases. Well, that's really not important. Who gives a shit whether it gives compensation in most cases? It should give compensation in every case. Every case. There's no justification whatsoever to steal land. The government has the resources. They simply refuse to distribute the land they have. They're sitting on millions of hectares of land. So you see the bullshit in Al Jazeera? In most cases, no. In all cases, you should be compensated. It also requires authorities to first try to reach a reasonable agreement. That's bullshit too. They have all the power. They appoint the courts. They appoint the arbitrators. They get what they want. Those people are beholden to the government of the day. Land can only be expropriated for public purposes, to build schools, hospitals, or highways, or for public interest, which includes land reform. Well, that's bullshit. Land will be confiscated to build houses. More than 3 decades after apartheid, South Africa's white minority constitutes 7% of the population, controls more than 70% of the country's land. That's a false story. They don't know that. Nobody knows that whites in South Africa control 70%, and it's not whites. It's 0.019% of whites have land, and they don't own 70%. That's 7-year-old data, and they haven't done another survey. See, this is just bullshit. Anyway, so what risk if relations decline further? South Africa is the U.S.'s largest trading partner in Africa, okay? 600 U.S. businesses operate in the country. South Africa is also a critical strategic part of the U.S., a democratic bulwark in a region where many other post-liberation movements have turned towards authoritarianism. That's exactly the problem in South Africa. The ANC is an authoritarian fascist regime. See, these people are so full of crap. So full of crap. Nikki says that's why she got William Petz on your show. Why? Because he's been talking about farm murders for years? So have I. I've been talking about him for 25 years. More than that. In the intelligence community and then in public since I was able to. I'm not arguing with you, Nick. I'm just asking why. I've had Willem Petz on the program. He hasn't expressed an interest in coming on the program. Marketing has ruined journalism. Yeah, clickbait, I'll go with that. ANC is being ruled by China. Well, I think it's being ruled by Tehran in China. Trump has been planning this for 4 years. I'm almost happy as the 4-year break. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I've said that several times in the past 2 weeks. I said, it's been unfortunate we had to suffer the past 2 years or past 4 years. I mean, my retirement income I thought would be very comfortable as a colonel, but it's been eviscerated by inflation. Everything costs 2 and 3 times what it costs. This 7% inflation is a lie. Nothing is 7%. Everything is double and triple the price. I mean, it's outrageous. And I thought I'd live very comfortably, but we should have had to suffer through this 4 years. But in many ways, it's a godsend now because Trump would never have been this brash and bold and done. He wouldn't have cleaned the swamp like he's doing 4 years ago. And we would have gone through 8 years of Trump and we'd still have a massive debt and we'd be on the wrong trajectory. And Trump would have been arguing with the press all the time. And, but now Trump is possessed. The assassination attempt did exactly the opposite of what the Democrats had hoped for. They hoped when he was assassinated that he would be gone. But he survived the assassination attempt despite being shot in the head and has come back with a vengeance. And he feels like he's been ordained by God. Nikki says, Nikki, there's no ignorance. No ignorance. I'm just asking what you didn't. Okay, you gave me a partial statement. That's why you should have him on the program. I've said several things. Why should I have him on the program? Because he's been talking about farm murders for a long time. I mean, if you want me to talk about farm murders, and then I'll get him on to talk about that topic. But I mean, what's the topic? I don't need to hear from Willem Petzer about U.S. foreign policy. Sort of an expert in that. A South African view on it, sure, but not tell me what's going on. But farm murders, yeah, he's got insights on that, and he has a lot of contacts, and and he's a very smart guy. Trump is a changed man. Yep, he is. Humility is the key that opens the heart to God's grace. Have a blessed day. Dave, thank you for that. What's that all about? UK, Canada, Australia, all run by leftists who hate Trump. Yep, only New Zealand is not run by leftists right now. As I understand it, Willem Petzer this morning, President Trump not only has a problem with the expropriation, also the BE laws. Maybe you should check this out. How does he know that? How does he know that? How does he know that President Trump has a problem with BE laws? What's his source? Is that his analysis? I'll accept his analysis because I agree with that analysis because I've been offering that for a long time. Yeah. Now, that's a place where Elon Musk has probably influenced him because he is a victim of BEE because he didn't bother applying for a Starlink license for ICASA because ICASA demanded he give up 30%. But what is Willem Petzer's source? Did he state who his source was? Does he have somebody in the administration he knows? Trump is more than welcome to come to South Africa and start a party. Sanctions are a moot point when the capital gets scared and leaves. No foreign investment, no foreign loans, no tourism. Exactly, Iceman. That's the point I've been making. And that's what I said as soon as this law was signed. Property value is going to plummet. People won't be able to sell property. People won't buy property. Places will be invaded, occupied. The government will eventually give up, trying, just like Zimbabwe, trying to stop the invasions. Not that they tried there, but they have been trying in South Africa. But they'll just stop. And FDI is not coming to the country. I'm not putting any money in South Africa. Forget that. Okay, and Trump says tariff to them. They hop and jump to his wishes. What tariff? Trump didn't say any tariffs to South Africa. When did Trump say tariffs to South Africa? He never did. Never said that. But it's coming. Do you have a soft spot for Willem and his grandfather's brother was a gruesome victim, maybe misinformed here and there, though. I was introduced to you by a video on Willem Petzer's channel, just saying. Really? Willem Petzer talked about me? I haven't had a conversation with Willem in a long time. Last time I talked to Willem, I don't remember, a year and a half ago, and he said he would come on the program, and then it just never materialized. I guess he got busy. I didn't know he was talking about me. I'm only mentioning him because you guys are bringing it up. So, again, he knows a lot about farm motors and knows a lot of people. So, there's somebody trying to get me into a dispute here to say bad things about him. I'm not saying bad things about him. I'm not saying good things either. I'm just not getting involved. But thank you, Willem, that you're introduced. But I'm curious what that video was. There's only one answer for South Africa. Bitcoin. Bitcoin Bullet says, yeah, put your money in Bitcoin. Nope, love you both. All right, well, that's cool, Willem. I'm glad you do. Trump promises a briefing Tuesday or Wednesday on tariffs for all. Oh, yeah, that's for reciprocal tariffs. So, like if China puts a 30% tariff on our car parts, then we'll put a 30% on theirs. South Africa wants to slap a 75% tariff on us for poultry. You're getting a 75% tariff. Yep. What can be a win-win here? How do you satisfy the land issue and still protect property rights? Well, Fred B. Kevin, it's very simple. The government can stop lying about land. First off, they're conflating stories and they're lying to people. I think that Teo de Jager said this very well when he talked about land claimants who were defrauded of land by apartheid and previous legislation. That's one thing. And then land reform in order to get more land into the hands of black South Africans. But the problem with land reform is that it's been misused, just like the restitution process. The restitution is pretty much over. The land reform is an argument they're making now that's saying that, well, land is power, land is money, and we have to give it to the black folks. No, I think people should buy their land, and if they get it as a recipient from the government, that's really unfair. It really is unfair. If you weren't cheated out of land, you just want land, you shouldn't get land because you're black. That's bullshit. No one has made this argument. I've never made this argument before. We've put up with the nonsense, but I shouldn't get land because I'm white. It doesn't matter what happened to my ancestors. If you're going to use that logic, then give me Ireland. Our family farms were stolen in Ireland by the English. I want them back. And the argument is, well, you can't have this much land in the hands of other people. Well, just like Zimbabwe, the South African government has had 30 years to right the situation. They've had plenty of money. They've purchased 3.9 million hectares. But instead of preparing people to use the land effectively and productively, they just throw them out there. And then because it suits the needs, because failed farms work very well for them. Internet personalities aren't important. What's important are ideas and solutions. Ideas outlast people. Well, we hope they do. Nikki says off to work. Okay, take care, Nikki. 3 years, 11 months. As a refugee, you can work and likely get green card. You'll have to apply for a green card after 1 year or you lose your status. Good day, Chris. I wish people would listen to all of you. You're all exposing the corrupt ANC. People must just say thanks and be at peace. God bless you and all the folks doing fantastic. You're very welcome, Joseph, and all the other people who are trying to expose the ANC. Look, I'm a person, the rising tide lifts all boats. As long as people don't abuse me on the internet, I got no problem. I can disagree with them, but like this morning, I listened to a video from Citizen Concern, and I did not like what she had to say. And I think it's, again, a situation where she's not well informed, although she does some really good videos. I recommend you go watch her content and subscribe to her channel. Don't agree with everything she says. So there. But the only people I'm going to take issue with are on the internet to do content creation are the people that abuse me, and two of them come to mind. The amount of racism showing its ugly faces over the last few days have been shocking. Yeah, nothing's being done. Nothing's being done. If white South Africans even uttered the K word, they'd be kicked out of Parliament, even if it was 15 years ago. Aaron's, good morning to you. Elise says most who filed land claims on restitution took money. Yes, they did, Elise. I know that. I've said that. I've written about that. 74,000 of the 75 legitimate original land claims from 1995, 1999, people took money. Most. And 74,000 of the 75,000 were settled a long time ago. But thank you. Ronaldo needs to contact Elon. Why would Ronaldo contact Elon? Exposing all the corruption. We have to lose the Stockholm Syndrome and recognize PTSD we live in. Yeah. Well, and Michelle, that's a good point. So let me tell you an anecdotal story about South Africa that will put this in context for everybody, okay? Gameplay, thank you for subscription. I was on a flight at Charles de Gaulle Airport in France, and we were sitting around a long delay waiting to fly and going to South Africa. This is 2000, I think, roughly around that time frame. And there were some Americans there who were going to South Africa, and I've been to South Africa many times, and so maybe it was 2001 anyway. So I've been to South Africa, so I had the experience being there. So the Americans heard me talking. I was American. They just engaged me, and there's like 6 or 8 South Africans sitting there, mostly whites. I think there was a couple coloreds and 1 or 2 black folks there. And they said, so what's it like? I said, no, it's fine. It just, but there's a lot of crime. You just got to be careful. Don't be a typical tourist. Keep your eyes open. Pay attention to your surroundings. You don't flash cash, that sort of thing. Just good tourism advice. But if you're careful, you should be fine. Remember, this is 25 years ago. And or 24 years ago, something like that. Anyway, so the South Africans, almost to the man and woman, started saying, no, crime's not a big issue in South Africa. Don't listen to that. People try to frighten you about coming to South Africa. It's a very, very good place to come to. And I said, I didn't say it was a bad place to go to. I just said, as a tourist, you got to be careful. And then in the course of the next hour or plus, while we're waiting there at the airport, sitting in these chairs, every one of the South Africans tells a horror story without realizing how ironic it is that they're saying it's a safe country to come to. And then this lady's like, yeah, no, this is where they stabbed me when they tried to carjack me. She shows me this huge scar across there. She shows it to the tourists. You should see in their eyes, like, and then the other lady's like, oh, here's the bullet hole where I was shot in the leg when they invaded my house. And then and the other one said, no, my sister was raped and murdered. No, every one of them was a victim of violent crime. I am 59 years old for the second year in a row, which means I'm 60. 59 years old for the second year in a row. I have lived in 16 countries around the world, done multiple combat tours, have lived all over Africa, and lived everywhere in America. Everywhere in America. Almost of the major metropolitan areas, rural areas, housing projects, everything. Farms. I have never known an American, personally, that is a victim of violent crime in America. I don't know anybody that's, well, you can't say that about rape because rapes aren't reported, so I can't say that. But I mean, rape aside, I don't know anyone that's been murdered. No one. I don't know anyone who's been carjacked in America. I don't know anyone whose home has been invaded in America. Ever. In 60 years. Now, these things happen, but every South African I know has either had their home invaded, attempted carjacking, been shot, raped. Yep. The problem is most who demand land now live in Gauteng. So they want the money, not land, yet the government wants to grab farms. There's a very good reason for it. Dave agreed, but Americans have known for a long time corruption in government is rife. Life outside Washington is just carried on while people were trying to file taxes, rent, and watch football. Exactly. Why should they care about South Africa? Now Morning Shot is saving something different on the refugee status. What is he saying about the refugee status, Armageddon? It's not about land. They need EWC to grab pension funds. That's right. It's not about land. That's what I keep telling y'all. The land is a distraction. The whites and racism and not a land expropriate. And it's all being lost. It's all being lost. No one talks about it. I do. Ronaldo, I think, has been talking about it too, and I think the Morning Shot talked about it too. But I've been saying this all along. I said it from the very beginning. Land is a smokescreen. It's a distraction. It doesn't mean they aren't going to take land. They've taken land in the past. So it's about defrauding you. They have no money. The ANC has destroyed the economy. They have pilfered everything they could possibly get their hands on. They have frittered away $5.6 billion from the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and the New BRICS Bank in 2020. Gone. They're begging for the $9 billion in the just energy transition from the U.S. and from Europe, which is not going to be delivered until they get rid of coal-fired power plants. Now it's not going to be delivered at all. We're not giving you any money for that crap. So, and now they're freaking out over everything because they have no money. The Iranians aren't going to give them all the money they need. The Chinese aren't going to give them money. Chinese want something. Yep. No place is perfect, but there's so much abundance here in the U.S. that crime like that isn't worth it. Lived here in Colorado Springs. I miss a lot, says Bitcoin. Okay. Franz Fori is back. Love the cold. I love the cold too. Willem says, yep, home invaded twice while we were in the house. 3 burglaries, 4 cars stolen. Luckily, none of my family's hurt. Exactly. And I've lived everywhere in Africa, and that hasn't happened to me. Hut full bikers. Me and my wife are both 52. Between us, shot 3 times, stabbed once, assaulted with a brick, tried to rape my wife. But South Africa. Yeah, exactly. Here you go. People are feeling a lot better about all the changes he has in the pipeline. To say nothing has changed, you say it's false. Who said nothing has changed? Wokeness is dying daily. Who said that nothing's changed? Did somebody say that? I missed that. Okay, my parents are telling me that they stood in line to get compensation for land after apartheid. Even then, they didn't get full amounts because the ANC stole a piece. There you go. See, but that's not the fault of white landowners. You're not saying that. And Gaiman, you're not saying that. And Gaiman's a good guy, so let's not be attacking him. You're not saying that. But it's not the fault of white landowners who bought the land or inherited the land. And they also forget that, land was a purchase from the Basutu tribes, from the Tswana tribes. Yes, there was some land stolen from conquest, but there's all sorts of ways people acquired land. And there's a lot of lies about it. But yeah, it's not about land. It's all distraction. Just like the whole thing with AfriForum is a distraction. Do you folks honestly think AfriForum is the reason why Donald Trump did this? It's not. Home's been invaded, says Nick. I decide on Michigan, says Franz. Well, you can have Michigan. You need to recognize what you're living with. Yeah. No place is perfect. Anyway, so back to Michelle's point. The reason I told the story about the airport terminal is because all those people were inured to violence. They accepted it. It's normal. It's what happens. By the way, where's the South African human rights case filed about the guy at the resort in Northwest who was stabbed multiple times over the holidays by thugs of black thugs who stabbed him because he came out and asked them to behave themselves? GP Ferrer, thank you for the super chat. Okay. Okay, yep, home invaded. Okay. All right, so that jumped on me again. They're coming for your pensions. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Yep. All I know is I want to watch Fanny Farid's Lobola. No, I'm just kidding. It's cold as hell there, Michigan. Yes, it is cold. If you want to chat about the solution, I'd love to chat with you. Chat about what solution? To what? To land? Visited a friend at one point for a year in Ontario, Kitchener. I've been to Ontario and I've been to Kitchener. Today is departure day for me to Geneva, Indiana. So you're going to Indiana to work on a farm or drive? Snow blowing the sidewalk. Good luck with that. South Africa is messed up, man. Violent crime started mid-'80s. Yep. I was saying it's scary to see how fast Trump has changed. Oh, okay, shows us how fast the country... Exactly. Well, I can turn around South Africa like that. And I've been saying that for a few years. You put me in charge, I'll end it all now. Well, we won't solve every problem, but we'll put it back on track. First off, BE goes out the window. It's gone. This EWC out the window. NHI, gone. Patronage hires, gone. People hired on merit. All South African engineers in electrical field and nuclear and engineering who had to move abroad or are unemployed because they can't work can apply for jobs. And if they're the best talented, they get it. And that's how we start the process. Then we invest in our schools properly, building proper schools with abolition units, with computers, with electricity, with school safety guards to protect people. Yep, and we go from there. Then we work on the justice system and the community policing. We turn the police into community police. Some of that takes time, but the turnaround will happen immediately. If you restore property rights, foreign direct investment will come back. Even though you have no electricity, you have no roads, you have no ports, you have no airlines, you have no rails. That can all be fixed. It just takes time. Yep. So we can fix this in a heartbeat. Bitcoin Mississippi people have savings. Most are living in debt. Yep. What, in the United States? Not most. A lot are, though. Carlo Cronier says, once processed and you behave yourself in the U.S., the system can be reversed by Democrats. No. Where do you get that from? That's not true. Where do you get that from? No. You can't. They have to have a legitimate reason to rescind it. You have to commit a crime. You have to defraud the government. Otherwise, you have the status. The status doesn't get revoked just because it's changed the program. They can close the program and nobody else can come over. Trump just did that. He suspended the program on January 20th, so nobody can come in the country through the refugee program. They can't take your status away. That's nonsense. And even if they tried, it'd be a lawsuit. Just this week, we've got 2 criminal alien invaders who are murderers who are in jail in Arizona. And they filed a lawsuit saying that they shouldn't be extradited. They allowed them to file the lawsuit. Some third-party NGO do-gooder on their behalf filed a lawsuit, and ICE was sending them to Guantanamo Bay to send them back to Venezuela. Judge said, no, you can't send them anywhere. They've got a lawsuit going on. Until their lawsuit's settled, they stay in New Mexico, in jail. And as I've said before, and I said on Newspod with Isaac, and I've said other places, there are Liberians in this country since 1990. The Liberian Civil War ended in 2003. That was 22 years ago. There is not a single reason for a Liberian to be in this country today. Nope. Their special protected status ended several times. And every time they went and they lobbied and they whined to Congress, and Congress extended it. And so we have people here that have been here for 35 years. They're refugees. They're not going home. They've got permanent green cards as refugees after so many years. So, no, the Democrats can't take it away from you. So don't buy that. That's a scare tactic by some uninformed shithead in South Africa. First African experience that I can remember happened when I was 13. House break-in. You guys are distracted. Swanapo Hines. Who's distracted? And by what? Are you trolling? They've already taken business because they own... Okay. Franz Kronia painted a rather bleak picture of our future on business. Yeah, no, I invited Franz to come on my program, and he didn't answer, and then he went on business. Then he answered me today and said, yeah, what time? And I said, what day? So I've been asking Franz Kronia to come on my program for a year. I know his wife. I'm hoping he comes on the program. So hopefully I'll have him this week. In fact, let me look and see if he's responded. Let me see. Hang on. Nope, hasn't responded. I asked him if he'd come on Monday. He hasn't responded. Okay. So I got another guest coming on. So LTN Gaming says absolutely. Yep. And JP Ferrer had the 40 Rand super chat. Thank you for that very much. Oh, there's the marker. Alan Coates is here. How about a poll staying? I've done that several days in a row. I can do it again. We got a bigger audience here than I expected. Where's everybody coming from all of a sudden? I mean, my videos weren't getting much watching yesterday, so I was a little... Okay, start a poll. South Africa. Trump's offer. I'll just give you two options this time. All right, the poll. We did it again. You guys asked for it, so I put it up. I'm not that interested. It's going to come out about 68% of people want to go. No, he says that the refugee status is only if you show your land has been expropriated. No, he's wrong. Is that what Morning Shot said? Okay, Armageddon, is that what Morning Shot said? Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Okay, I'll tell Byron he's putting fake news up. Where does he have a source? That's not true. That's not true. It's not true. See, this is the deal. You are talking to the OG here. I don't fuck around and find out. I know. We don't know the conditions attached to this program yet. However, a refugee is someone who demonstrates they were persecuted or fear persecution due to race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular group. It doesn't have anything to do with land, and it doesn't mean you have to prove it. You have to fear it. You can prove you have a fear, and South Africans can do that. Visit safest country when World War III comes. Okay, so fake news, fake news. Now, I don't know they actually said that. You're telling me he said that. So if he didn't say that, then it's not fake news. Oh, you're going to be driving. Okay, cool. I think they're stuck now, even if they want to stop it. They can't. The entire platform is giving people an enemy. Well, I think you can stop it. I've never lived in Aspen, Colorado, but I've been to Aspen. I went there for the Energy in Africa, or not the Energy in Africa Council. What was that conference I went to? The R Day, the Alternative Energy Day, or some crap like that. That should have scared him off. Just kidding. Okay. Malcolm, no comment. Is Malcolm here? I didn't see Malcolm. Hey, Malcolm. Okay, hello, me. Well, you are more than welcome because the ones in Parliament is not really South Africans. I'm staying until such time I'm forced to be a refugee. All my stuff expropriated. I won't fool you. Look at my link. What link? Hein, you said something a long time ago, and I don't even remember what it was now. And you're asking what link? There's no link here. You can look at your channel. When do I think the refugee program will open? Maybe Friday or next week, if they're on the ball. Yep, we'll see. Robbed multiple times, hijacked, house invaded. Most have had something happen to them. Yep. Try that long, right? All right, you're trolling. All right, but it's not malicious, so I'll leave you alone for now. Luke says, Ansi thinks the why, because apartheid is a free pass to racism against whites. Exactly, you stated it very well, Luke. They think the why makes it legitimate to be racist against whites and to take their land. It's not. It's just as immoral as the National Party doing it. Chris, with this land bill without compensation, does that mean they can take Orania? Yeah, of course they could. Of course they could. It's about taking the pensions, yep. Our granny got $40,000 for land that was worth millions when she lodged a successful land claim. How did she get money when she lodged a land claim? Oh, Roderick, are you saying that she was only paid $40,000? Okay, see, this is the problem with the language. Roderick, I assume you speak Afrikaans or English. Are you saying that your grandmother got 40,000 rand for a property that was worth millions when she lodged a successful claim? I think that's what you're saying. Now, I'm on record as saying that most of these land claims are settled, but I'm never making the argument that they were fair compensation, because in some cases they weren't, in many cases they weren't, but people chose to take the money rather than land. Now, when it comes to land claims, when people say, like you did, that the land was worth millions, well, there's a reason land is worth millions. What was the land like when the land was expropriated, and what was it turned into? That could be two very different things. Two very different things. If land was not being farmed, or it was just being grazed and it was turned into a game ranch and it's worth tens of millions of rand, well, it wasn't worth that when it was expropriated. Someone invested and built it. It's like Zimbabwe. In the southern part of Zimbabwe, there were farms in poorly watered region of Zimbabwe that used advanced irrigation techniques and took soil that had never been farmed and turned into productive trees and orchards and things like that. That land was worthless when the farmers moved there in the 60s and 70s, and they turned it into a blooming paradise. So the value of that land was much higher after their investments and capital they put into it. So I don't know the circumstances you're talking about, Roderick, but I suspect what you're saying is your grandmother only got $40,000 for property worth millions. But again, that's not the whole story. You know, my house theoretically is worth more than I paid for it, but I put money into the house. Got solar panels on the roof. So anyway. Swanepoel Hein wants to post. What are you trying to post? No, we can't see your link, Swanepoel Hein. You must be new to YouTube. YouTube doesn't let people post links unless they're content creators or they are moderators. So please tell me what you're trying to post, and we'll discuss how we can get the link. A map of America with good locations to immigrate to would be helpful for staffers. Well, that's a silly thing for me to make, Iceman, because what are good locations? Everybody's got a different view. I mean, if I went to South Africa, I wouldn't live in Durban. It's too freaking hot. It's too humid. I can get curry anywhere in South Africa. I don't need to be in Durban to get my curries. I wouldn't live in PE. It's boring as all get out. Sorry, guys. Sorry, it's boring. I wouldn't live in Joburg, even Sandton. No, too hectic. Too much going on there. I could live in Pretoria, but only parts of it. And I could live pretty much anywhere in the Western Cape, except the Cape Flats, you know. Try to get Mackenzie. I would like to know what he'll say. Well, Rob Hersoff promised he would get me Gate Mackenzie, and he's a busy guy. I don't know. I'll probably have Rob Hersoff back on the program on Friday, and I'll ask him about that. Herman Volka says you're becoming famous here. Well, Herman, I've actually been famous there for a few years now. The shadow banning kept more people from knowing who I am. I mean, I'm not boasting, but people that know, I can't go anywhere without being recognized. I mean, I didn't used to pay attention to it, but this last several trips, I've been paying attention. And the last trip, I keep count, 45 different times people came up to me that I've never met in my life who recognized me in South Africa, and I'm not South African. But yeah, no, I guess I'm becoming a little famous in South Africa right now. That's a little more famous, I guess. Suppose that's good. That's probably bad, too. I was already, the first time I came back to South Africa, I was surveilled by inept intelligence people trying to follow me around. They weren't criminals. They were intelligence people. Yep. People taking guesses at Trump's offer. We have no information yet. That's true. Okay. The liberal South Africans living behind 10-foot walls are the ones telling people that the Dems can deport refugees when they take over the BS. Well, if someone's telling you that, they're full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. Stop listening to those idiots. Stop listening to them. The Democrats can't revoke your status unless you've done something wrong. You admitted under a policy, that was the rule at the time, and you stay. You stay. As long as you follow the rules and do what you're supposed to in the program. If you come to America and you violate the rules of the refugee program, like, for instance, you go on holiday to South Africa all the time, well, then you're not really a refugee, are you? You're fearing for your life, but then you're going back there on holiday? Well, it doesn't work that way. You can be kicked out of the program. Yep, and you're sent back to South Africa. I'm staying. Got you, Nick. Okay. Can I post link according to Arctic? Only mods can. Yep. Do you think all South Africans will stay in the same place or area? Okay. Natasha Posthumus. Okay. If 300,000 Afrikaners come to America, they can't possibly stay in the same place. Where would they stay? In tents? No. The refugee resettlement program doesn't work like that. They settle people around the country in places that they can house them or put them. And people get split up all over the place. Now, if you come with a family, your family isn't going to be put in Maine and Colorado. That isn't going to happen. You're going to put in the same place. But, if your neighbors happen to come, he might be in the different parts of the country, might be in the same place. It depends on the circumstances and what's available at the time. This is an incredibly generous program that we are far too generous with for the world, and it costs us billions of dollars every year to do this, taking in people from around the world. Most of whom are very grateful they got to escape the mess they were in and come here. Werner Heinrich von Schoenbeck. Welcome. That's a very German name. Used to farm on Breckenridge. No, Swanepoelheim. Nobody can see your links. Please explain what you're trying to tell us. Don't tell me you got your intelligence, you gather your intelligence. That doesn't mean anything to me. Tell me what you're trying to say. You think Ronaldo may take Trump's offer? I don't think so. We'll see. Well, you can't post it, Swanepoel. Explain what you're trying to tell us. You have a keyboard. I'm going to stop addressing you in a minute because at this point you're just trolling me. Listen to what I'm saying and do what I ask you to do, or I'm not going to entertain this anymore. Lisa Boonzire, as soon as South Africans realize this is godsend, it won't be available forever. Okay, unfiltered. My African expat just this past Sunday, the same saps that said I was too white for asked us to back up to arrest armed robber. Gun battle ensued with us. I have no idea what the hell you're saying. It's not even English. Yes, but some states are the size of South Africa. It takes 10 hours to drive across California, Texas. Well, no one can drive across California in 10 hours. It only takes 2 or 3 hours to drive across California. It takes 10 hours to go from California from north to south, but not across. Texas would be good culturally, lots of farms. Well, you say that, Iceman, but no. Yeah, you're making assumptions there. Ronaldo. What's this? So, to be honest, even Iceman, weren't we supposed to get in touch or something like that? Did you send me an email? There was something, I'm trying to remember now. Something going on there. To be honest, even my hubby is having second thoughts on leaving South Africa now with all the misinformation lies. Well, then that's what the intent is. That's the purpose. I'm not encouraging any of you to leave, but I'm not going to lie to you like these other people are to scare you into not going. That's morally bankrupt. So let me ask you this question. If someone lies to you and misleads you and says it's only for farmers, only if you can prove that if they lie to you without knowing the facts and they don't go somewhere and then you're murdered or your spouse is raped or shot or your home is burned down, do they not feel moral responsibility? These are shameful people. You should never lie to people about something this serious. Lizans, thank you, Colonel, for your incredible patience for passing through this. I'm trying. Worked in Wisconsin. Too cold. Would like Texas, says Rian. Rian, were you here for farming? Jaretha, welcome back. Michelle says, Aranya was in desert air land. It's now a thriving town. So it's worth much more. Exactly. So if somebody makes a land claim for the land that was in Aranya and claims it, and they get 50,000, like the grandmother did, you get 50,000 or 40,000 rand, and somebody says it's unjust. Well, the land was taken in 1960 and it was worth 10 rand, and now it's worth 10 million rand, but it's worth 10 million rand because it's been turned into something productive and it has buildings and such on it. So, you got to be careful there. All right. Hamas said they will not release the hostages. I saw that. Yeah, Trump said fuck around and find out. Yep. If you like the cold, go north. One thing I like, leave beer outside the winter. That's true. Texas, basically ranchers and Chipotles. Rian, okay, you were here for farming. Cool. I used to be a farmer myself. Chris, have you ever been to a Journey concert? I have not. But I heard that AC/DC is playing at Murray Field in Edinburgh this year. Ooh, I'm not a big AC/DC fan, but I wouldn't mind going and seeing them before they all kick the bucket. Mr. E says, remember your videos from the last account and wondered what happened. So glad to see. Oh, you just found me again? Mr. E, I've been back on this channel since the other one disappeared. The other one disappeared in April of 2021, and I started this channel then. And now we're bigger than that channel ever was. But thank you for finding me again, Mr. E. And that other channel's back, by the way, Mr. E, if you want to go look at it. But a lot of the videos are hidden because I was at the danger of getting copyright strikes for things I didn't do. So the original channel, if you type at real Chris Wyatt, R-E-A-L Chris Wyatt, you'll find the original channel. Please go back there and make sure you're still subscribed. I still do that, but mostly U.S. stuff over there. Tired of watching videos and reading comments that Alpha Reform are only fighting for. Yeah, well, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. People stop believing the nonsense. Get your information from the source. Exactly, Michelle. Hi, Chris. 2 a.m. Woke up with no electricity, a regular occurrence where I live naturally, usually cable theft. Not great at night to complete darkness. Yeah, I got you, Cheryl. That's pretty scary, especially as a woman. I'm not planning on going, but just curious, as a legal gun owner in South Africa, would you be able to take your weapons with you? That I don't have an answer on, and I couldn't possibly answer that. I don't know the deal with taking property. Again, my experience with refugees is usually people who are fleeing a war or something like that, or a famine that's induced by the state. So people are fleeing. They usually got what's on their back. So I don't know the answer to that, and anybody tells you they do, unless they work for the State Department, is full of it. Carl found and I had a friend in high school who was stabbed on his way home. Good God. Francois Jarvel says, is it possible for a Safa to come over under the refugee program and get a proper job and naturalize after? Yes, that's exactly what the program is designed to do, Francois. That's what they want you to do. You come over, refugees are allowed to work. Asylum seekers are not allowed to work, although the Biden administration broke the law and allowed millions of illegal aliens who fraudulently claimed asylum work in this country because they fraudulently used the program to evade the law and let these people in this country. So, yeah. So be sure to hit that like button, folks. We only got 140 likes, and all these people are here. You got to do better than that. But you have to apply for a green card within 1 year, or you're going to lose your status once you're here. Just to let you smile, where in the U.S. can I ride my bike all year round? Oh, not a blue state. Well, I was going to say San Diego. New Mexico, maybe. I don't know. Arizona, but it gets cold in those places too. Like this so much, I returned to stay, says Sean. Just before COVID, we got stuck here for over a year. Oh, you got stuck? That's how you got in South Africa the first time, because of COVID. Folks, there's a whole wide world outside South Africa, and there's plenty of curry, biltong, and barbecue in America, as well as many other things. Yes, indeed. Many things. People also just need to understand it's not going to be a picnic if they're lazy. If you work, bring your side, you'll be just fine. If you're lazy, you will fall flat in your face. And there'll be nobody there to pick you up. Nobody to pick you up. Carlo Cronier says, Chris, one last thing. Example, the wife and I applied for status and now in the U.S., yet her parents are getting older in South Africa. Would it still be a no-go for her to visit because of these reasons? I will not be able to answer that question because it's a case-by-case basis. You could potentially be allowed to go back under a humanitarian basis because the parents are elderly. Yeah, that's possible. But you got to be very careful, folks. You have to understand refugee status is not a free pass. It's not a free pass. It's meant to help people who are being persecuted, people who are in fear of persecution. Again, if you're homosexual and you live in Jordan and you're fearful that you're going to be dropped off a roof, which is what happens in Muslim countries, many of them, they murder homosexuals, you could ask for refugee status because you have a genuine fear of persecution, even though you haven't been dropped off a roof. By then, it's a little too late. So I don't think we can really answer that question except on a case-by-case basis. What you should do, if it's something you want to do, is then apply for it discreetly, get your appointment, do that, and then ask the question. You can always back out. Do you need a passport? Well, Carl, I can't answer the question because a lot of people who are refugees are fleeing from war. They don't have anything except the clothing on their back. And so they're issued travel documents by the State Department in those cases. In the case of South Africa, I suspect they're probably going to say you need a passport because you live in a pseudo first world country. Good luck with home affairs. But we don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And anybody tells you they know is full of crap. Until the State Department releases the program. It's all just unknowns. The known knowns and the unknowns unknowns. Her parents can come with you now. Potentially, yes. They're part of a family. That's an extended family. Sewage works in Durban Municipal District are failed. Yeah, there you go. Well, that's why I don't hang out on the beach. I'm going to close the poll. So 69% said they would go. That's, I said, I didn't need to do a poll. It was 69% the whole time. It hasn't changed. HIV medication aid has been blocked to all countries, not just how poor kids in need. We'll make it. That's a lie. That's a lie. Where are you getting your news from? That's fake news. Fake news, lie. Fake news. HIV medication has not been blocked anywhere. 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 That's a lie. That's racist propaganda against the United States. That's a lie. Where did you get that information from? Where did you get that information from? That's a lie. Who told you that? State Department. Department of State. I'm so sick of the media lying to people. People fall for it. Emergency waiver for foreign assistance, humanitarian assistance. January 28th. It's already been 2 weeks. 2 weeks. There's old age homes all over the place. Yeah, what's that? Here you go. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. I got to do this one here. I got different things open up here. So that's a lie. That's fake news. Emergency humanitarian waiver to foreign assistance pause. To implementing U.S. government agencies, partners, and NGOs. For the purpose of carrying out the President's executive order on reevaluating and realigning foreign aid, I'm approving an additional waiver for the pause of the executive order for life-saving humanitarian assistance during the period of review. For this purpose, this waiver, life-saving humanitarian assistance applies to core life-saving medicine, medical services, food, shelter, subsistence assistance, as well as supplies, and any reasonable administrative cost. It does not apply to abortions, family planning, conferences, administrative costs. Migration and refugee assistance may only be used to support activities under Section 1 and for repatriation of third-party nationals to their origin. That is a lie, a lie, a lie. I don't know who told you that, but that's a lie. Stop believing the bullshit that you're being told by fake media and by liars. How hard was that for me to find? I went and found that like that in a quick Google search from the Department of State. That waiver is issued on the 20th. And why do I know that? Because I pay attention. All right, that's a lie. That's a lie. Total lie. Where's that at? What's his name? Okay. But I'm glad you found me again, Mr. E. Okay. Not even after reform wants to leave. That says a lot. What are you here for, Corsair? Are you here to annoy people or cause problems? Because you've already brought fake news in here, and I've already destroyed your story. And now you're telling me that AfriForum does not want to leave. Well, of course AfriForum doesn't want to leave. Why would AfriForum want to leave? They're South Africans. The organization is not there to promote people to leave the country. That's not their role. So I don't understand why you're making your point there. And also, you're making a presumption here, of course. So what do I give a shit whether AfriForum wants people to leave or not leave? I'm not telling people to leave. I'm not advocating for it. How many fucking times do I have to say that I'm heart sore that South Africans would feel the need to leave? Anyway, all right. I think we got a troll here. Folks, there's a whole lot outside. Okay, I already got that. I missed this. Okay, so I've jumped back here. So do you need a passport? David Kruger says, seriously, I don't understand how you maintain patience with some of the ridiculous questions being asked. Well, yeah, look, okay, I'll tell you why, David. When I do news story and people are acting like this, I don't have the same sort of patience. A lot of times I do. Because the problem is that I want to believe that people are earnest, but the world is full of shitheads. Not a lot, but there's some. But I want to believe people are earnest, and I take them at face value. And that's why we had a lot of trouble when the channel first started with the likes of Christian Paradigm and all these other self-loathing hate wankers, leftists who attack the channel. But the reason I'm so patient with people about this is that people are genuinely concerned. People fear. People are excited. People are being misled by fake news and fake media and people lying. I mean, reading something in News 24, if you don't have a critical eye, you'll miss something. Now, I don't know if it's true, and I'll have to ask Byron, but someone said earlier that Byron said that only if you had if you're in threat of your land being possessed could you become a refugee, because they read it in News 24. That's a lie. I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I have to ask Byron if he actually said that. But yeah, thank you, David. I've been very patient, and I'm not getting paid for this. And it's 12:42 in the morning, and here I'm doing it. I want people to have the best information possible. I would like the audience to be here. I would like a larger channel, all of that, yes. But, you know. So I'm back to where he said the medicine was blocked. Sorry. Okay, so there we go. The poll's over. Very sad that we need to think about. Exactly, Tracy. That's what I said. That's what I said. Come and try to get a Social Security card without a passport. Yeah. Central and South Americans are fleeing from cartel and gang violence, but they're being sent back home. So many actually getting killed. I don't care. Why would I care about that? Why would I care about that? They have no right to be here. I can't go just hang out in Costa Rica because I want to. And your information is useless. Your information is useless. So many South Americans. Who? Give me some names. Tell me the countries. Tell me where it happened. You want empathy? You can't come with bullshit. You got to come with facts. In Southwest Africa, Namibia. What the hell happened over here? Oh, this thing froze again. YouTube is constantly freezing, man. Oh, it's got problems. YouTube has got problems. And it's not my browser. When I switch to a different browser, the crap still happens. And it's not just me. It happens to a lot of people. So there's something going on with YouTube. They're doing something. I think they don't have control of their website. So anyway, bring your parents. Just remember, medical costs are insane. They are. Portuguese of Angola first went to a transit camp before they came to South Africa. They were not allowed to take their pets. Well, Vilma, that's there. That was South Africa. Arctic is what? Cigarettes, $15 a pack? Yeah, that's probably about right. New York, they're $21 a pack. Friends Free says, oh my God. Why are you saying, oh my God? Because I use profanity? I never said offices are closed. Who said that? Of course, I'm not sure if you're trolling or you're just very poorly informed. You're saying I said that offices are all closed and how on earth are we going to be distributed? I never said that. I said the embassy isn't open on weekends. You need to check your ears. Plenty. What's Michelle there? So plenty, but somebody has to pay for them. And you don't qualify for Social Security until you've contributed to it for 40 months. Yep. Franz is saying something's 50% cheaper. What's 50% cheaper? Because in the UK, the government is currently running an open border policy. Our illegal immigrants coming over in boats are usually allowed to go back to their countries. Yeah, well, that's a different story. USAID offices are closed, distribution impossible. No, okay, Corsair, you're just poorly informed. No, USAID offices don't distribute antiretrovirals. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. In fact, the agency government is whining that the companies that distribute them if you stop the money, they can't distribute. AID doesn't distribute. See, this is the problem. People don't know jack shit about AID. They don't distribute anything. AID are middlemen, and they're not needed. That's why they're being eliminated. We don't deliver HIV medication. We don't deliver antiretrovirals through USAID. USAID negotiates for contracts to find third parties to provide them who buy them from American pharmaceuticals or European pharmaceuticals because Aspen Pharmacare is too fucking lazy to do its job in South Africa. So no, that's not true. Doesn't matter. And the functions of USAID for something like that, if they were to do it, are the responsibility of the Department of State. The embassies are open. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. The embassies are open. Relax. It's a lie. And you're spreading misinformation, which we don't tolerate here. 3 million paying contributors. Oh, you're talking about that. Okay. Everyone must decide for themselves they want to stay or go. I think Trump for this opportunity. All right. Rudy, I got stabbed at 16, shot at 15, pistol whipped, and all I did was walk home from school. Good God. Good morning, Chris. What have you heard that Ramaphosa's interest in mines in Rwanda and South African mining? He doesn't have interest in mines in Rwanda. There's arguments he has interest in mining in the DRC. If he has interest in Rwanda, good luck with that. He's pissed off Kagame. He's not getting anything out of Rwanda. Luke says, wondering if USA wants South Africa to use jabbed and boosted. Not under Trump. Not under Trump. Under Biden, they did. Not under Trump. But they didn't require it under Biden. We had to get it, but they didn't. But I never did. Screw them. How is it fake news that they don't want to leave? Just a statement of fact. What are you talking about? Your last comment was that the offices are closed. The offices aren't closed. Are you talking about AfriForum? That's a long time ago. AfriForum doesn't represent all South Africans. They represent their members. They don't need to leave. What do you care? See, this is all bullshit. This is all distraction. Agra SA doesn't agree. Oh, the DA doesn't agree. Solidarity and AfriForum don't agree. Who freaking cares? I don't give a flying flip. It's you, Mario Ferreira. You, Michelle Krause. You, Gus Jordan. You, Luke. You, and Gama. It's what matters to you. It's your personal decision what you're doing in your life. Whether you become a butcher, a baker, candlestick maker, a prostitute, a drug dealer. That's on you. Whether you live in South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Michigan, Illinois. I don't give a flip. That's your business. And AfriForum has nothing to say about that. Neither does the DA. Neither does the ANC. Do what you want. You only live once. Make the most of it. Grab the nettle and clasp it. Feel the blood pour out. Feel the rain on your skin. Natalie and Brugge there. That's not Natalie Brugge, is it? The rest is... Anyway. That's not Natalie and Brugge. That's the other one from England. Can't believe the idiots in South Africa are losing their minds about T-shirt Dricus. Oh, that's stupid too. But not Gabe McKenzie. He told people they're stupid. He's supporting them. That's correct. Trump is not ending HIV/AIDS anywhere in the continent or anywhere in the world for that matter. Thank you, Ngema. Appreciate the rational mind there. And Kai says it's up to you. Yep, it's not up to these other people. Heidi Kruger saw on Facebook that the government has already confiscated private property. A guy demanded rent for his crematorium burial. The government was using it later. Officials came to confiscate it. I don't know that story. But I know that the government has used the threat of expropriation to force people to sell, like the Ackerland Brewery. Have a good laugh this morning. Commentator mentions that AfriForum only speaks for white Afrikaners and then plays a video of Ernst saying that they support all minorities. Exactly. And they ignore the fact that they've helped minority groups, minority black African groups, sort out things and learn how to do self-bestow and things like that. Yep. No, it's so pathetic. Andili spews, the land thieves must leave. Well, that guy is going to wind up in a lot of trouble, and not in South Africa. But if he tries to leave the country, he's going to be sorry. David Kruger says, truth spoken, Chris. Kudos to you. You're very welcome. 5 minutes of TikTok, you'll be confused. Not even 5 minutes. There are stupid questions, but there are also lots of desperate emotions going on. Exactly, Arctic, and that's why I've been very patient, David Kruger, because there's lots of Charchan. Welcome you. That's why I've been very patient with people, because I'm not going to fault people for being concerned. Okay, Corsair, I'm going to say you're not trolling, okay? But you keep asking questions that are leading down a path, and everything you've asked, nothing has any basis in reality. With USAID offices closed, how can they continue with their functions of distribution of aid? It's a reasonable question. Because the State Department has economic officers in the embassy. Dude, you see, this is the thing. You're talking to somebody that's been there and done that. I've got the receipts. Hell, I got an award from the State Department for helping refugees, or not refugees, but helping people evacuate, not refugees, but evacuees from South Sudan. I got an award, a high-level award from the State Department when I was in Uganda for that. Oh my gosh. We don't need USAID to distribute aid. The aid isn't the pills. The aid is freaking money. Do you know how that can be done? I can do that from here. I don't even have to be in South Africa. I don't have to be in South Africa to deliver HIV medication to people in need. There's already an existing network set up. All I have to do is be one of those 20-year-olds from Doge, push a button, release the funds, have fun storming the castle, boys. You don't need a USAID for that. Future activities, different story. The State Department will have to pick up that load. And they're capable. They've got thousands of Foreign Service officers. It's what they do, man. It's what they do. Before AID existed, State Department did that sort of thing. And 20 years ago, USAID was relegated under State Department. And they had to do it inside a State Department. So the people in the State Department, even if they didn't know it better as a consequence of that, because they work with these people in the same offices every day and they coordinate with them. So I've worked with AID. All of our aid was synchronized because Department of Defense did aid. The ambassador had a self-help fund. USAID had money. The Centers for Disease Control had money. All of us brought money and did aid in countries. And we met as an aid team every week. And you're working on this project. Okay, does DoD have something to contribute to that? Yes, we can do this, we can do that. And so, for instance, in Botswana, we built counseling and testing centers in which the DoD paid $500,000 for the building in Francistown. We had Peace Corps bring volunteers who helped them in the HIV counseling testing center, provided free labor for them. Okay. And then we also had money from Ambassador Self-Help Program for projects that need to be run inside it once it got started because the NGO didn't have the money to get started. All of that was facilitated in a meeting at a tiny embassy in Gaborone, which has an embassy staff of 40 or 50 people. We did all that. All the HIV, one of the most heavily impacted HIV countries in the world. And we managed all this with a couple dozen people. You paid in Drovers. Hughes says, I tell like it is. Afriform actually said they'll support Afrikaners. Exactly. That's what they said. That's what they said. Not what you read. It's what they said. I watched the video. People came on here yesterday and they're just pissing all over Afriform. And I'm not defending Afriform. I'm defending the facts. Well, Afriform doesn't speak for you. Who the fuck do they think they are? Calm down, man. Oh, no, you got to watch the video. You got to watch the video. So I went and watched the video on Facebook. I can't stand Facebook. So I watched it because it's the only place I could find it in English. It was so I watched it in English. They never said that they speak for Afrikaners, or for all Afrikaners. They said exactly what the unfiltered South said. They said they'll support Afrikaners regardless of what they do, whether they stay or leave. But they're staying. Going to be inundated with the same questions, fake news. People are losing their shit. I know, Nikki. Hey, Nikki, you're back. I know. Thanks for your patience, sober discourse. You're welcome. Please tell people about me. Okay? The channel slowed down today. Maybe I'm panicking here. But the numbers for videos just aren't impressive like they have been for the past 2 weeks. No, it's way down. People should be watching this. It's a business day. Should be picking up by now. Yep. So I'm wondering if YouTube is starting to censor my channel again. So anyway, please tell people about it, and people keep finding it. And share it on social media. Do the refugees first go to transit camp like the Portuguese from Angola? Everything is different, Vilma. I mean, everything is different. So people coming as refugees out of Bosnia were processed through UN camps, okay? And then they came. Everything is different. I don't imagine there'll be a camp for South Africans. You're being let out because you're being persecuted for political things. There's no reason for camp. You're not fleeing a conflict. You're not a victim of a famine or something like that. So anyway, so we don't have an answer on that, Vilma. Just have to wait and see. Everyone has to wait. I'm really getting irritated at the State Department. It doesn't take this long to write up a policy that's effective. They have a template for existing programs. All they have to do is make a couple changes. And Zendra Cookamore, thank you for subscribing. So the State Department's really starting to piss me off. As a white Southerner lost everything due to racist laws, I'd be the first to move there and give my family a better life, says Felix. People should consider Hawaii if they don't like the cold. No, Charles. People should only consider Hawaii if they're rich. You know what it costs to live in Hawaii? It's freaking expensive. Case-by-case basis apply. Why would it put you in a camp if you have the means? Exactly. Afro-reform is just a civil rights movement. Correct. Yep, that is correct. Okay, I'm behind on the chat. I'm trying to catch back up. There it is. Carol Erasmus says, yes, there's a lot of misinformation assumptions in the South African media and social media channels. People are talking about asylum and not refugees. Exactly, Carl. And this is why journalism is dead in South Africa. This is why you all shouldn't be listening to SABC, ENCA, News Africa, although sometimes they do a pretty good job. Even the Daily Maverick is captured now. They're horrible. I mean, the stuff they're putting out is bullshit too. News 24 is Propaganda 24. The Independent Line is the toilet paper of the day, toilet paper of record. Times Live, they're all printing out bullshit and lies. And they're all running cover for the ANC. Do you know why? Because they'll continue to profit. They'll be allowed to operate. They'll make money, even as a country burns around them and falls down. And then they'll just leave. The rich people will just take their money and go to Malta. They'll go to Jersey, Guernsey. They don't care. They can buy their way into these countries. They don't give a flying flip about you, whether you're black, white, or brown. And that's what's lost in this conversation, too. It's all about white people. It's not about white people. It's about South Africans. All South Africans. Black, white, brown, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Khoi, San, Afrikaner, Portuguese, Zulu, Xhosa, Tswana, Venda, Zulu, Swati. This makes me so sad. Many people came to South Africa for a new start after they fled danger. Now things are not looking good here. Yep. So welcome, Carl. Corso Vaxxer says the Afrikaners' reason for fleeing is the Central and South Americans' reason for fleeing. No. That's not true. That's not true. If there are Central and South Americans who flee political persecution, they make a legitimate asylum case, then they get asylum. But they're not being offered refugee status because there's been no determination that anyone in Central America is the victim of these persecutions we're talking about. But it's a pretty clear and obvious case that South African minorities are being persecuted by the government. I mean, you don't have to look any further than the 142 race-based laws. That's the end of the conversation right there. Explain to me why you need a race-based law to discriminate against people. People in America finally woke up to the concept that affirmative action is racist. I've been saying that since I was a kid, 40 years ago. It's racist. To give someone advantage or disadvantage someone based on their skin color, I don't give a shit what historical happened. It doesn't matter. I didn't live in 1850, and I didn't profit from what happened in 1850. I grew up in poverty without water, fetching from a cistern, going to an outhouse to take a dump in minus 20 degrees in wintertime. You don't spend much time there, and you never let your butt hit the seat. I don't really give a flying flip about lies about the past. No one gets an advantage based on immutable facts. You can't change your skin color. I can't change my skin color unless you're an idiot in West Africa and you bleach your skin, then you're a fool. You can't change your characteristics. Your eyes are your eyes. Your nose is your nose. Well, I suppose you can change that with plastic surgery, but you get my point. You can't change immutable facts. And no one should be punished or promoted or benefit from immutable facts. That's just immoral, unjust, and racist. And I don't tolerate it. I don't tolerate racist. And finally, Americans have woken up to realize that affirmative action, well, we need it because we had Jim Crow. I don't give a shit. So someone gets 5 more points and goes to Michigan Law School and I have to go work at Wendy's because they were never affected? They're the same age as me? That's just asinine. You fix this by fixing the systemic problems. Like broken families in inner city and black communities, where 78% of the children in this country who are black are illegitimate. They're bastards. They don't have a father in the family. Almost all of them. 78%. Almost all that 78%. And they're raised without fathers and have lack of discipline and lack of respect for human life. Not everybody. Many mothers do a fantastic job raising their kids to single parents. But you get my point. You fix the systemic problems in the community. You fix the broken schools. You don't make all the schools stupid. Instead of lowering the standards to 30, 30, 30, and 40% for matric in South Africa schools, you maintain the standards, and then you pour resources in to the places where people are performing poorly. And you hold them to account. You hold them to the standard. Nobody should be getting any degree from South Africa advancing to school with anything less than a 7% average. Anything less is a failure. You hold people to a standard. Otherwise, it's a path to descent, which is what South Africa's on. You're circling the drain because your government is full of racists who think it's okay to discriminate against people because their grandparents or because we don't give a shit about you and your grandparents. That time is gone. This is post 1994. You've been in power for 31 years. You are responsible for the shit that's going on in South Africa. Nobody else. No historical. You've had 30 years to fix the land. You've had 31 years to fix the economy. And all you've done is fuck it up left and right because you're fucking communist moron, scumbag thieves. Yeah, Michelle says, we don't see the aid. Who cares what USAID does? Be 50% meant to buy smokes at the Indian reserves. What's that? Guys, you do not next vac. What is next? Are you saying need? Yeah, no one, you don't have to be vaxxed to come to this country. That was some Biden bullshit. We got rid of that. That's why I didn't go to New Zealand, because they demanded vax. They can go shove it. I'm not getting vaxxed to go to your broke-ass country. People need to read, not social media or News 24 says. If you want to go to the U.S. State Department website, it's very easy to go. Exactly. Or just listen to me. Thank you for everything that you do. I so appreciate this Malcolm card. Hey, Malcolm. Colonel, can you join the U.S. Army? There are age limits, Rion. Every service has age limits. Usually it's the Army is 34. It changes sometimes, but you have age limits. You also have to pass a background check. You also have to meet the health standards. So if you have HIV, you can't come in the military. Okay, there are age limits. Yep, okay. Johan Olafia says, I don't understand why so many trolls are on here. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to leave, leave. Exactly. Thank you, Colonel, for all your valuable insight. You're very welcome, Johan. It's because people have no other life. And there is a concerted effort. They're paying people to harass Twitter, to harass YouTube, to harass Facebook, to scare people into not leaving the country because they know that if people actually leave, the country will collapse if a significant number leave because no one else is paying taxes and those people won't be there to perform jobs. But a lot of people who want to leave are people being denied access. They're not paying taxes anyway. So I'm not encouraging people to leave. I'm not encouraging them to stay. I just feel bad that they feel the need to leave. If you come over to run away, you will fail. Come to dream, and the sky's the limit. Yep. What's the most stable African country to live in? Well, it used to be Botswana until Eric Masisi almost destroyed Botswana in just 5 years. It's recovering now, but I have grave concerns because the new president's a socialist. So I'm not going to say it's the most stable. Mauritius would be the most stable country in all of Africa, followed by Cape Verde, Rwanda, although that's an authoritarian state. Yeah, so there you go. It's not easy living. Oh, it's easy for me, but that's because I'm an American. I was wondering if Kenya would be a good destination. Nope, I wouldn't, Sean. I wouldn't go to Kenya. Nope. Nice place to visit. Not live there. Full of crime, poverty. No. Border police, the same. What's your question, Rian? Border police, I don't understand. MJ says she shows ANC public news channels showing how they are lying. Now some of the politicians claim that the report is treasonous. Who's she? What are you talking about, MJ? I didn't see any comment from you until then. Suddenly you say, she shows ANC. Who is she? Showing how they are lying. Now some of the politicians claim that the report is treasonous. Because the civil rights movements. Okay, that humanity is killer. Yeah. Anton Monroe. The thing that scares me is if you go to the USA as a refugee, right at the bottom of everything, is it possible to explain how this refugee status works to people that will eventually do it? Sure, Anton. And for the 1,857th time, I'll explain that now. We don't know how it works because the State Department has not issued a policy on this particular program. We have a program that exists. It's called the United States Refugee Admissions Program. United States Refugee Admissions Program, cited right there in the President's executive order. So, you do start at the bottom, but you don't start like an immigrant. Immigrants come here. Nobody gives them a job. Nobody settles them in a place. Nobody gives them, follow-up visits. Nobody does anything for them. Nobody gives them cash. But refugees get all that shit. Yeah, they get all that shit. Normally. I don't know what's going to happen with South African refugees, but normally they get all that at my expense. At my expense. Hundreds of thousands every year pouring into this country legally as refugees, and we give them. But we're a systemically racist country, aren't we? Oh, it's so terrible. America's so horrible that everybody wants to be here. You're killing his tequila buzz. Mauritius is very expensive. It is, Sean. I didn't say it wasn't expensive. You asked stable. A question was stable. I told you stable. On bottom of the ladder, I think he means Arctic. Bottom of social and economic. Well, why would you be at the bottom of social? No. Okay, that's just silly. I don't. Why would you be at the bottom of social? Are you unable to speak and practice your culture? No, that's nonsense. Bottom of the economic level? It just depends. I mean, if you got skills, you can get a job. Hannes Vanderwald. Why would you be at the bottom? I mean, look, if you are a well, okay, Arctic, here's a good example. If you're a qualified pilot, there are certain standards you have to meet to get your license here in America, but the principles are the same. You just have to go through the process of getting it. You can become a pilot. You make a shitload of money as a pilot, as long as you don't work for regional airlines. You work for regional airlines, you get paid peanuts. You get paid a lot more in South Africa. Hey, people are suddenly subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. You don't start at the bottom. You start with nothing, except what we hand out and give to you because we're way too generous. So again. Michael says refugee status is a golden ticket for those with nothing. Exactly. Thought about Botswana. Sean, Botswana is lovely. I wouldn't discourage you. I encourage liaison and liaison's husband's name. I'm trying to blank right now. Sorry. I'm tired. Yeah, but they lived in PE, and when I started my channel 5 years ago, the original channel, they asked my advice about moving to Botswana, and I told them it was wonderful because it was, and they're happy there. They had a baby there. And they have permanent residency in Botswana. They're from PE, and she's a nurse, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember liaison, and her husband does some IT stuff, if I'm not mistaken. He actually started his own business. He's doing very well in Botswana. That's lovely. Beats the hell out of parts of South Africa, that's for damn sure. Sean, you're an American. Why are you living abroad? Are you running from the authorities? For 90% of pristine, highly productive, expropriated farmlands are now devastated. Yeah, that's what the news is telling you now. And that's what Willem Petzer's telling you there. But I'd like to see the receipts. I know that most or many of them have, but I've never seen data supporting 90%. So I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying that rather than repeat what someone put in a YouTube video, I want the receipts. So anyway, Anton, what's process to change from refugee to citizen? No such thing as bottom socioeconomic activities. Right to live and work is all that matters. Exactly. Exactly. If you're a refugee, you have a right to live here and you have a right to work instantly. Instantly. You can move anywhere. You can go anywhere in the country. Travel around. Come visit me. We'll go to Starbucks together. I'll take you to the Gettysburg Battlefield and give you a battlefield tour. Come visit me. Okay? We build again. Forget your status. I'd rather start from scratch and live free than among. Yeah, says Rion. Okay. Here in the South African government departments don't even work properly on a good day. That's probably why he's confused about internal works. I'm in Mexico. It's 11 o'clock. What are you doing in Mexico, man? Don't answer that question. Would we be able to get decent jobs? There's no discrimination about jobs. There's no restriction on jobs here. You just have to be qualified. There's no, I could be anything I want to be. There's no restriction. There was. This country was becoming woke, and white people were being denied jobs. Go to D.C. and look at the federal government. Almost nobody works there is white. Almost nobody works there is white. They're all black because of the patronage that was going on. But that's changed now. That isn't the way it was in the corporate world. But the DEI is dying, and so you shouldn't be discriminated against. Although white Anglo-Saxon males like me, over 50, massive illegal discrimination against us. But that tide is being reversed now. You guys got to listen to what I'm saying and listen to what Arctic is typing. You have a right to live and work here if you're a refugee. End of discussion. You don't start at the bottom of anything except your mind. Why else did you drink rum and tequila? I don't know. You love booze, man. Rudy says, I can't believe there are so many uninformed people. Do some research. Everything's on the internet. Be careful for fake news. Yeah. Or just watch my program. News always gives only half the story that supports their narrative. But not here. My news, I give you the full story. And I even cover stories that are, that I don't want to cover, that are not in my favor. So, for instance, today, well, that's the wrong one. Let me close that. Hang on a second. How's that still doing up there? I'm looking for this one. There we go. So, yeah, this is a story I don't want to talk about, but I'm not happy to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it because it's important. Trump announces fresh round of tariffs on steel and aluminum. I disagree with this. Trump is doing this. I disagree with it. 25% tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. That's protectionism. And I don't like protecting industry. If industry can't survive on its own, and then it should die. That's my thought on it. Anyway, but that's just me. Anyway, so where are we at now? Cool. If you can read, you can learn. If you can learn, there's nothing you can't do. Exactly. Your life is as big as your dreams. Reach for the stars. I'm not here to judge alcoholics. Oh, that's funny. Okay, you guys are too funny. Man, I'm way behind the chat. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize it was this far behind. Good Lord. Wow, am I that far behind? The problem is that there's no timestamps on here. There they are. So I'm way behind. So let me get back. It's 1:10, so I'm back to 12:50 now. Oh, I was already there, so I'm past. I'm not that far behind. Okay. I presume the higher your qualifications, the easier it will be for you to get. But remember that your qualifications may not be adequate to qualify for here. So, for instance, if you're a practicing attorney in South Africa, you're not going to practice here. You're going to have to take the bar. You may not have to go to law school, but you're going to have to take the bar and pass it in the state. And you have to pass the bar in every state you practice in. If you're a physician, you're going to have to go through certification or prove, or maybe your qualifications won't be good enough. But I will tell you this. Nurses almost always are qualified when they come here. They come here. We pillage Africa for nurses. The U.S., the U.K., New Zealand, Canada, Australia. We pillage those countries, especially the Anglophone countries, for nurses. So, yeah, if you're a nurse, you come to America, you'll be fine. News always, okay. Okay. All your there it is. And Arctic, thank you, Arctic, to answer my questions before I get to them. All your qualifications have to evaluate American standards, which is a process. Exactly. Vilma was saying, thank you, was asking for my son, wanted to know. It's fine, Vilma. I just thought it was an odd question coming from you earlier. From Lefty, Jan Herba. New President Donald signed an order halting aid to South Africa based on misinformation about land issues. Joseph Groves would be proud. Yes, Joseph Groves would be proud of lying sack of shit Jan Gerber. Donald Trump was not a convicted felon. It was a bogus law, a bogus case, and it was a bullshit jury, and the case will be thrown out. The convictions, there was misconduct by the judge over and over in the trial, which tainted the outcome, so that trial will be tossed. As far as Joseph Goebbels' propaganda, that would be News 24, Propaganda 24. Based on misinformation, we halted aid based on misinformation. So, Mr. Shithead Jan Herba, let me ask you this question, dickwad. You're going to tell me that the ANC doesn't do things against our national security interests with Iran? Are you going to tell me that the Lady R never docked in Simonstown, a sanctioned Russian ship, and the South African government hid it from us and then refused to answer our polite diplomatic request for 5 months about it? Are you going to tell me that the South African government did, in fact, vote to censure Russia over the invasion of Ukraine? Because that isn't what happened in my book. Are you going to tell me that, in fact, that the South Africans aren't giving exclusive property rights and industrial park tax-free exclusive business zones to Chinese corporations? Are you going to tell me that the South African government didn't do a naval exercise with the communist Chinese and the sanctioned Russian Navy in the midst of a combat situation in Russia? So none of that happened, Jan Gerber. Shove it. A propagandist, man. What a dipshit. Fake news are saying Afrikaners reject the offer. I know that they aren't. Well, yeah, 69% of people here, but that's not a representative sample of Afrikaners. Yep. Simply cannot. Oh, it jumped again. Damn it. YouTube. And now it's only going back so far. Okay, so here we go. Mario Ferreira is back. Going to be a pimp. Johan Odefia says, I don't understand why so many... Oh, I went way back. Sorry. Leslie Ann Moon, welcome to you. And, yeah, there it is. That's where I was at. Blows my mind that USA extend a generous offer to Southern people want Afrikaans schools. Worry about your own nonsense. Oh, seriously? They want Afrikaans schools here? You're not getting Afrikaans schools here. You can forget that idea. We're not going to build schools for you to have Afrikaans. You can homeschool and teach people Afrikaans, but nobody's building an Afrikaans school for you. And you'll never have a density deep enough that you're going to have Afrikaans language schools here. It just isn't going to happen. So I've warned people this. If you think you're going to come to America and you're going to be an Afrikaner, you will be an Afrikaner, but your grandkids will be Americans. They won't even speak Afrikaans in almost every case. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. That's why the Colonel only works with hard facts. Just saw quite a few posts on Facebook stating ARV has now been stopped due to Trump. It's a lie. Yep. Until this happened, I was aware that most South Africans have PTSD and have been dehumanized, but reading comments and recognizing symptoms makes me sad. Yep. Remember, no matter what profession you're in, you will have to be requalified in that field from plumber to rocket scientist. They don't care what you are now. You have to jump. It's the same thing. If I move to the UK, my qualifications don't mean shit. I got to go through a process to be certified in the UK for what my skills are. Absolutely. Australia, New Zealand, same thing. I have an American friend, and her husband's South African, and I met them through the Vegas Sevens, saw them out there every year, and actually ran into them in Japan at the World Cup in 2019. Barry and his wife, he's South African, she's American. They were living in California, and they were at remember the Vegas shooting? The guy up in the tower killing all those people at the concert? They were at that concert. Oof. Yeah, Barry Cavanaugh. Good guy. Anyway, they got an offer to go to New Zealand because she's like a forensic pathologist or something like that, a very hard field for people, and she had great qualifications. And they were asking, should they go to New Zealand? I said, well, this is before we knew about Jacinda Ardern being such a fascist, totalitarian dictator and COVID. And I said, yeah, no, it's pretty cool, New Zealand. I wouldn't mind going living there. And they looked at it and they decided. But even though they recruited her, even though she had a limited skill set that only a few thousand people on the entire frickin' planet are capable of doing, the certification for her to actually work there in that field took time. It took months for that to be sorted out before she could move to New Zealand. And they wanted her desperately. So you have to understand that. Now, that's not the case in America. I'm just giving an example of something. So just a reminder, criminal record of any kind will be detected by DHS, and refugee status is not granted criminals. Correct. I've mentioned that repeatedly here. Usually limit how many refugees the U.S. takes. Normally, the U.S. Sets an upper threshold of refugees of 50 to 150,000 per year. But right now, no one in the world can come here as a refugee except Afrikaners. No one. On January 20th, Donald Trump froze the program because it was abused by the Biden regime. It was illegitimately used to get people in the country who had no business being here in order to decimate our country's social order. That's what Biden was up to. So Trump froze the program, which is his prerogative on national security reasons. But now he's opened it up to Afrikaners. So if the only people on the planet are Afrikaners or South Africans who can take advantage of this, and if they come with a 150,000 threshold, then guess what? 150,000 a year. Yeah, so there is often a limit, yes. I would come tomorrow. I wish that there was a speed up process. Well, it's not immigration. Not immigration. Okay, y'all got to stop talking bullshit, okay? Asylum, refugee, immigrant. 3 things. Or migrant. There's 4 ways to come here. 5, tourist. or business person. 6, okay. But the things you were, okay, Peter Oscar, thank you. Asylum seeker. That's someone in the country that is being persecuted and they ask for asylum to stay here. Asylum seeker. None of you can qualify for that. Refugee. Refugee, we resettle you in the country because you're being persecuted somewhere or you fear being persecuted. You come here. You get refugee status, you get a visa, you're here, you can work immediately, and you get help in resettlement for up to a year. They give you cash and all this other crap. Then you're on your own. And you have to apply for permanent green card in that first year or you're out. If you're a criminal, you're not here. Then there's immigrant. An immigrant is somebody that applies to come to this country to migrate here legally to become an American. Those people have to jump through hoops. Well, I bring these skills. I can do that. I can do this. And they come here and they've got very tight rules and they have to wait years to become a citizen. Whereas refugees get a faster track, slightly faster. And then the last is migrant. Migrants include the 100,000 South Africans who've come to work on farms in America. That's a migrant. Mexicans who come up to work on the farms in California. Temporary visa, H2A or H2A. That is a visa letting these migrants come here and do work in things like agricultural field. That's a migrant. Migrants go home. Asylum seekers stay, but they can't work until they're granted status. Refugees come here and work immediately. Immigrants can come here and work immediately, but you got to start at the bottom because nobody's helping you. Josie's Jumping Castle says, please tell us about the new vaccine card for the workforce in RSA. What vaccine card are you talking about? Where are you getting this horse shit from? Is this from News 24 too? What vaccine card? There's a vaccine card for workforce. There's no workforce in America. What are you talking about, a workforce in America? This isn't a communist state. There's no workforce. What vaccine card are you talking about? No such thing. Sean says, good luck getting money in South Africa. Agreed. Not easy. Reminder, criminal record. Okay. Would come to the U.S. tomorrow. Okay. Carpentry is great, except in winter. Yeah, it sucks. People build houses. They're building dozens of houses right here, unfortunately, just 400 meters from my house. Damn it. And they're out there banging on wood every day. Doesn't bother me. I'm just saying that they're doing it in wintertime. 6 months to get equivalent qualifications that he had in South Africa for 10 years. There you go. He's a pilot. Took him 6 months to get it sorted. And they recruited him. News outlets are more likely, but that's for someone who wasn't a refugee. He was coming here to work for permanent green card. News outlets are more than likely funded by, yep, okay. When they come, okay. My personal opinion, just the start. President Trump will turn up the heat in the next couple weeks. Well, Willem Janssen van Rensburg, if you watch my videos, you'll see exactly that. And unfortunately, hardly anybody watched my video. Yesterday, I did a video saying, say goodbye to AGOA, and it died a death. Yesterday, I had 4,000 people the first hour, 3,800 the second hour, and now I'm getting 50 people per hour watching that video. YouTube has buried it, just like they do with all my crap, and they're doing it again. None of my videos are getting viewed right now. They're all being hidden again, just like they were for years. That sucks. So much for that. Anyway, maybe it's just a lull. It'll pick up again. Anyway. What if the criminal record was expunged because it was 20, 30 years ago for contempt of court? Well, contempt of court is not a violent crime, and that's probably not going to be a problem, would be my expectation, but I can't profess to be an expert, and we'll have to wait and see. Same for the news clips from New York Magazine, intelligent white South Africans, the only refugees Trump welcomes. Actually, that's a lie. There's no mention of white. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. There's no mention of white. That's the lie. They're just fake news, lying pieces of shit. Donald Trump said nothing about white people. He said a certain class of people, and he identified that class of people. Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination. There are coloreds and Indians and even some blacks who consider themselves Afrikaners. They're Dutch Calvinists. They speak Afrikaans. They're Afrikaans culturally. And yeah, so that's a lie. That's a lie. That's perpetrated by, what was it, New York Magazine? More racist. Trump is not going to move off refugee status. The jealousy of most South Africans will help is when they get wholesale. Okay. Yeah, the hate is coming. We're already seeing it on social media. Once that turns into violence on the street, then people change their minds, unfortunately. Okay, so Neville's back, tuned in very late, but it seems people don't understand that the State Department still needs to publish. I know. It doesn't matter how many thousands of times I mention it. People don't understand it. Okay. What happens in 4 years from now? Old Biden or his aide returns. Okay. Gerald, you've been here many times. You haven't heard this already, or you're asking for a friend. It doesn't matter. Unless you break the rules, you're here. Doesn't matter. They can't send you back. Stop believing the bullshit you're hearing elsewhere. We sound like Jews trying to justify why we have value to the world. You don't have to. Thank you for that, Evie. You don't have to justify it. It's a refugee program. Stop with the nonsense. I don't care about your qualifications. I don't care about your sexual orientation. I don't care if you got a nice set or a nice rack of Hooters. We don't care. We don't care if you're a sexy Burmese. Actually, I do care if you're a sexy Burmese. I should correct my statement there. Maybe we'll help you get your refugee status if you're a sexy Burmese. I'm just saying. No, but it doesn't matter. Refugee doesn't matter. You're not an immigrant. You're a refugee if you're granted status. Who cares what the left says? Trump will do what he wants. It's perfectly legal. Yeah, Lewis, I-94. Yep. Chris, do not worry about the numbers dropping. Watching most of us in this chat still have a job and we have to focus. Elena Funsell. No, but I know the pattern with YouTube and I get nervous. I got nervous a few days back and then I did a video that got me 100-some thousand views and and then it all came back and then it's trailing off again. I want to get to 50,000 here. Obviously, I want to get to 100,000, but I want to get to 50,000 as quick as possible. Right now, I've been averaging over 1,000 new subscribers per day, and it's slowed down a little bit. Let's take a look and see what it was for yesterday. It's slowed down now, but hang on a second here. So, and you're probably like, well, why are you worried about subscribers? Well, because now everybody wants to come on my program. Now everybody's calling me. I got billionaires calling me, asking to come on the program. I got millionaires calling, asking me to program. I got politically connected people asking to come on the program. I don't have to hunt them down. So yesterday it was 36,099. So today it's past midnight. So it ended at 37,084. So I was just short of 1,000 today. And so far today it's gone up just, it's gone up about 100 in an hour and a half. So that's not too bad. But yeah, but if I go back to January, middle of January is just 20,000. So yeah, we're doing all right. But yeah, no, I just, we got to reach more people. So got to reach more people. But yeah, I can see the numbers going way down. Well, no, actually they're not. Well, yeah, there's a drop there. Looks like a roller coaster. Anyway, sorry guys. Just trying to reach as many people as possible. Samantha Holm, there you are. Keith Alderson's in from the UK. It's possible fear of crime is a bigger motivation than political oppression. Exactly. Well, crime is a legitimate reason to seek refugee status. That's why they're giving asylum to people from Central America, because of the crime in Honduras. They want the kids to be dumb people used to control. You are correct. Craig Sprung, please encourage people to mail the USA consulate that show their desire to take up immigration officer. The email addresses are in the description. No. First off, Craig Sprung, I don't know what you're doing here telling people that. Do not bother the American Embassy. You are just trying to clog up the process here. Do not email the American Embassy because you will not get a response. You're just going to slow things down for other people. And it's not immigration. It's not immigration. Stop the bullshit. This is a refugee program, not immigration. Email addresses are in a description of video I did to promote this. No, promote it elsewhere. Promote it elsewhere. Because you're not going to help anybody by doing that bullshit. Why would you send an unsolicited comment to the American Embassy that you're interested in immigration? If you're interested in immigration, then apply for immigration. There's a process for it. As a South African, you'll be denied in almost every case because most South Africans that try to apply for immigration are economic migrants, and they see through that. So you'll be denied. If, however, you would like to apply for refugee status under this offer that Trump is putting out there, then patiently wait for the State Department to announce the terms and conditions of that program. And then they'll tell you how to contact them. You'll fill out something online. It'll be processed automatically. They'll call you for an appointment, and they'll talk to you. Petzer is pro-Trump and thanking him for what he's doing for South Africans. Well, that's nice. Why are we talking about Willem Petzer here, Anton? Love your content, but it's getting tiring reading the same uninformed comments and you have to repeat yourself over and again. Good point there, Jose. Good point. I'll jump ahead here. Yeah, I should get paid by the State Department because I'm doing their damn job now for 3 days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, 4 days, Tuesday. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to the news that I want to talk about. Watch the numbers drop. 320 people. Because they just want to hear that stuff. All right, so back to where I was. Mbusini Ndlozi has quit the EFF. Oh, shocking news there. Shocking news there. Shocking news. I warned you, Vaxxer. Stop acting like an ass. You get a timeout next time. All right. Attention seeking. You want attention? Go to a strip club. They'll give you all the attention you want. Put Rand in their panties. He resigns from Economic Freedom Fighters and shifts his focus to academia and civil society, as if we give a flip. This guy's a dangerous, race-hustling slimeball. I'm no gossiper nor informant, he says, about leaving the party. He's finally left the EFF and party politics after a turbulent period of escalating tensions with Julius Malema. His departure from the Red Berets was practically written on the wall as the relationship with Malema soured. He announced during an interview with SABC that he wanted to provide the public with closure on the matter. The idea that I should have run behind Shivambu's back to inform other people, yeah, we don't care. You're gone. You're just a horrible person, so go poison minds in academia. Well, the DRC conflict, Ronnie Lamola says that an abrupt withdrawal would be worse than surrender. Really? Really? Would be worse than surrender? It would be worse than surrender. Well, Minister 30% is speaking, the genius behind South Africa's Defense Department. She's rebuffing opposition calls for immediate withdrawal from the DRC. Minister 30% telling us how it's important for to stay there. Unfortunately, those dead South Africans tell a different story. Anyway, she's defending the deployment, as did Ronnie Lamola. Meanwhile, the opposition are not happy. South African troops were unprepared, untrained, ill-equipped, and poorly led. ANC, MK, and IFP were among the parties which believe South Africa's military is needed in the DRC. Why does the MK think that they're needed in the DRC? All the other parties, including BOSA and Action SA and a whole host of other parties, including the FF, say no, get them out. They should get out. Well, the DRC crisis, Gate McKenzie says some outrageous things, and so I've reported that in my video, but let's talk about that. Yeah, yo mase. Okay. There's a super chat from Olga Stander. Thank you, Olga, for the super chat. I appreciate it. So this is what he had to say. He said that in an interview with Mpofu Walsh, Mackenzie shared his views on Ramaphosa's leadership, describing him as a consultative, but ultimately decisive. He listens to opinions, but when people don't listen, at the end of the day, he takes a decision. This guy doesn't take decisions. He sits on stuff for months and years. He said if he was president and Kagame came for me like that, I would have come up and said, yo mase. Yep. Anyway, said there's a lot of it. Anyway. He goes on and on here about how he used to hate Ramaphosa, but now he gets along with him. And he also said all these ridiculous things like, I will go and be in the battalion. I don't know what he's drinking there. Okay. What did RJ say? Hit the like button. It's on Mackie Process. That's good. I don't know the answer on that question, Snow Angel Husky. I have no idea. No idea how that works. I'm not a nurse. I don't know. I don't know how you get qualifications. I don't know how to do a pilot. Arctic can answer that question. But that's just the way the world works, folks. Different countries have different standards to protect their citizens. We don't want unqualified people nursing here. We don't want unqualified pediatric surgeons here. We don't want unqualified barristers or lawyers. Greg says, I heard him invite you to his show, which will be very interesting to watch. Well, I was on this morning, Greg. You missed it. I interviewed on that show 4 hours ago. It should have been on the show this morning. Yep, I was on there. Thank you for mentioning that. All right. So, the United Africans Transformation says that South Africa must defend its sovereignty, and this is comical. So here you go. They've condemned what they call the unwarranted imperialistic actions of President Trump, who has interfered in South Africa's internal affairs under the guise of human rights concerns. President of the United States, not the President of the world, has no jurisdiction over South Africa's sovereign decisions. Well, dumbass, Donald Trump is not making anything to do with your sovereign decisions. Isn't this comical to hear this whining about Trump is intruding in the internal affairs of South Africa when Trump is doing completely the opposite? We are saying that we're giving you money every year, $500 million. People expect something for that money. They expect access, influence, for you to vote with them in the UN, things like that. We don't, but normal people do that. So now what we're saying is that in order to not influence your economy, in order to not influence your internal politics or decision making, we are not going to give you that money. And you have asswipes, dumbasses, saying that we're interfering in internal politics. We're not interfering. We're leaving South Africa. It's yours. Do what you want. And by the way, say goodbye to AGOA. You're not getting duty-free access to our marketplace. We're not going to influence the politics in your country. Do what the hell you want. Can you believe these people? His actions reek of hypocrisy as the U.S. itself has a long and bloody history of land dispossession, racial discrimination, indigenous genocide, said the UAT. Racist. Pure, unadulterated racism. John Graves says, I should be the new ambassador to South Africa. Well, I don't disagree with that, but I'm not politically connected and I'm not Jewish, and Donald Trump loves Jews and puts in positions in South Africa all the time. Lana Marks and Joel Pollak apparently is the front runner for that. Personally, I think it's a dumb idea to take South Africans and put them in the ambassador in South Africa. Yes, Joel Pollak's an American. He came here as a little kid, but you get my point. He has a dog in the fight in South Africa. America should be represented by people who weren't born in that country so they don't have conflict of interest. Lana Marks, born in South Africa. Not a doctor, but I can operate. Yep. U.S. firms in South Africa call for cooler heads of the Trump spat. Of course, the big money is covering its ass. The political parties, the GNU, they're covering their ass. They're all suddenly Cyril Ramaphosa's best friend. The Agra-SA, attacking Donald Trump. All the media attacking. Corporate world being quiet. Well, now American firms are saying, yeah, because they see gravy train in Africa. They don't want to leave South Africa. No one's telling them to leave South Africa. The head of the American Chamber of Commerce in South Africa has said a feud with the South African president risks a strategically important relationship that benefits both nations. There's not much benefit for us. Yep, not much benefit for us. American Chamber of Commerce South Africa President Kusini Dlamini. Kusini Dlamini. Is that the Dlamini from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? That family? We don't have any Dlaminis in this country. Do I have a backup in case YouTube gives you? Well, Carlo, I've been through all of this before. Backups don't work. Nobody has the same capability that YouTube provides for free to content creators. I tried Rumble. It's shit. I tried Odyssey. Shit. Plus, they lost half my videos when they transferred them, idiots, and never restored them properly. I tried Scribestar. I've tried Twitter. I've tried Facebook. It's all shit. Nobody has the same business model that YouTube has. So either you have your own server and you pay for advertising and you pay for all the data that goes out and you have somebody manage that and you pay a fortune for it, but I'm a one-man team, or you use YouTube. That's really the only option. So I don't have a backup, Carlo. Yep. But I have multiple channels. So anyway, but we went through this before. My original channel was taken, and I was on a path. I would have hit 100,000 within 2 or 3 months, the rate I was going. I went from 2 to 23,000 subscribers in 5 months. This channel, I went from 0 to 15,000 in 3 years. And then over the last year, got to 20,000, and now in just a few weeks, I'm at 30-some thousand. Rumble is too awkward. It doesn't work very well, and it's also too big a delay. Marlies Muller, you're the kind of person we love to come to America. Who is Marlies Muller? I didn't see that. Chris, our Afrikaners will give you a lekker braai. Thank you for that. I look forward to it. Why do you want me to look up the meaning of catastrophe? That's something that Ronaldo and Roman came up with. Or Roman and Byron came up with. Do you think that any white South Africans will be able to... Okay, I don't know what you're talking about there. South Africa's Defense Force is non-existent. That's correct. I should promote the streams you're featuring on using YouTube posts. Where? What post? Pay YouTube? Pay YouTube? I don't know what you're talking about. YouTube. What YouTube post? On the About channel? It doesn't do anything. I mean, you must be talking about something else. Ramapo's big supporter of the U.S. dollar. He keeps him in his sofa. That's correct. Where is this Marlies Muller at? I don't see any Marlies Muller anywhere. And if people keep saying something to her, I don't see any Marlies anywhere. There's Tracy. John Graves. Well, there's Marlies. Oh, you are so thankful for us. Oh, we are so thankful. We pray we get refugee status. Okay. Shorts do nothing. Nothing. Let me look at my shorts. No, shorts are just, they YouTube screwed up the shorts. They don't really accomplish anything. Maybe for certain content creators, but they do nothing for me. So here are my shorts. My last one, I got 1,986, which is big. Then 784 views, 591, 989, 613, 532, 601, 733. And they die within 30 minutes, the shorts. They're just gone. They're done. Whereas my lives, 8,000 yesterday, 22,300 before that with Teo Diager. So 2 streams yesterday, 30,000 live viewers on those. Then 85, 6,000, 13,000, 38,000. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. And then my videos, I won't go with the last 4 because they're all screwed up in the figure. I don't know why nothing's being looked at here. But 32,000, 72,000, 85,000, 7,000, 121,000. Yeah, 21,000, 14, 43,000. So, yeah, shorts don't do anything. And I don't make any money off them. Not that it's about making money, but they're just a waste of time. I do them just occasionally just to throw something in there. Thank you. I'm so glad we have you in our corner. You're very welcome, Wade. I love your avatar. It looks like a farm field. Looks like terraced farming there. Thank you for that. Hey, Kudu Grey Ghost. Welcome to you. Okay, well... Rothschilds. All right, so that's not what I'm looking for. Come back over here. By the way, in about 6 hours, we have David Ansara on the program from the Free Market Foundation. We'll be talking about all these things that's going on. So here you go. Even News 24 is actually told the truth here. They've got it correct in a story that was published on the 10th. PEPFAR is exempt from Trump's aid ban. So we had Vaxxer here earlier, and when he had his message delete, he disappeared. He kept trying to say that there's no, just being a fool. There it is right there. PEPFAR exempt from Trump's aid ban, which I've been telling you since the 28th of January. Anyway, so there it is right there. Even Propaganda 24 got it right. Well, Trump says Palestinians wouldn't... Oh, there's Charmaine with a super chat. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, I know that. That was a Roman Byron creation. Palestinians would not have the right to return to Gaza, according to Trump. That's going to get him pissed off. Hamas has postponed the hostage release, blaming Israel. Of course they're blaming Israel. They're just thugs. And the first glimpse inside a burnt Dead Sea Scroll. Well, it's not a Dead Sea Scroll. It's a badly burnt scroll from a Roman town of Herculaneum, digitally unwrapped, providing the first look for 2,000 years. Wow, it looks like a lump of charcoal was charred by the volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Too fragile to even be physically open. Now scientists use a combination of X-ray imaging and artificial intelligence to virtually unfurl it. Wow. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Diamond light source used X-rays to do it. Wow. That's pretty cool. So it's not from Dead Sea. It's a scroll from Rome. Chinese tariffs have taken effect now in the United States, ratcheting up a trade war. 10% tariff, a blanket levy on all goods. Well, let's see who wins. China's retaliatory tariffs on goods from the United States went into effect on Monday, deepening economic tensions between the world's 2 largest economies and dampening hopes that they can strike an early deal. Well, we're not going to trade with people who cheat. And stop cheating, China, and we'll trade with you. Philippines, joining BRICS. Well, good luck with that. Senators urging Manila to join the bloc and adopt a more balanced foreign policy. Yeah, not going to happen. Janet Joel, good morning. Just got here and missed everything. You can go back to the beginning. Okay. At this stage, we don't really care where we're placed. Okay. Donald Trump announces that I already did that. The tariffs. He'll announce reciprocal tariffs. That's what I talked about earlier. Every country that opposes a tariff on us will get a matching tariff. Why not? Why give people favored trade status when they screw us and keep our goods out of their country? Compete fairly or don't compete. Trump says he would withhold aid to Jordan and Egypt if they don't take Palestinians. Ooh, that's going to cause a problem with Jordan. We've had a long, close relationship with Jordan, and they're not going to like that. They're already flooded with Palestinians. Trump has signed an executive order. pausing the enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. This is a little bit concerning here. This is the law we use to prosecute Americans for bribes and things like that overseas. So that's a problem. Enforcement of this act, established in 1977, restricts U.S. businesses from bribing foreign government officials to secure or retain contracts. Wow. He said it's a disaster for our country because everyone else bribes officials overseas. So I'm not sure I'm hip on that one, but that's one Trump just approved. Pete Hegseth has renamed Fort Bragg back to Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg, but not after Braxton Bragg, the Confederate, but after World War II hero Roland Bragg. So once again, be Fort Bragg. Clive Nicholson gave a 35 Rand super chat. Thank you for that, Clive. Okay. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth signed an order Monday restoring the name of the storied Special Operations Forces Bay. It's not a Special Operations Forces. It's the 82nd Airborne, 18th Airborne Corps. Back to Fort Bragg. Yep. The base's original namesake, General Braxton Bragg, was a Confederate general from Warrenton, North Carolina. He owned slaves, so they had to take his name off of it because they're scumbags. They're renaming in honor of Private First Class Roland Bragg, who was a World War II hero who earned his Silver Star and Purple Heart for his exceptional courage during the Battle of Bulge. There you go. So it's back to Fort Bragg. Ha 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 ha. So Trump has issued no executive order updating anything about that. He just did the steel tariffs. So here you go. This is from the White House page. Steel imports, foreign corrupt practices, and then the one on South Africa is, where's that? That's not even here anymore. There it is, egregious acts. See, there's so many acts coming and go. Oh, Gulf of America Day. That's right. So yesterday was Gulf of America Day, the 9th. Well, it's now 2 days ago. Very honored to recognize February 9th as the first ever Gulf of America Day. We didn't even know it. It was Gulf of America Day. These are the countries around the world receiving U.S. foreign assistance. Look at that. Foreign aid spending. Ukraine getting $17 billion. It's the biggest in the world. $20 billion goes to Europe. $16 billion to sub-Saharan Africa. Middle East gets $10 billion. Yep, look at that. All that aid, all those bubbles. Even Canada gets foreign aid from the U.S. Australia and New Zealand don't. They're about the only countries in the world that don't get foreign aid from the U.S. China gets it. Japan gets it. North Korea doesn't. Look at that. Wow. That's a lot of foreign aid. Elon Musk is leading a group to purchase OpenAI for $97 billion. Wow. So he's not busy with Doge. He's busy buying new companies. Yikes. Transgender-friendly Nike hit with a blowback for an ad extolling women's sports. Nike has championed male-born competitors in women's sports for years, which is why the Super Bowl ad paying tribute to female athletes was accused of being hypocritical. They unveiled its So Win brand motto during the game on Sunday with an ad predicated on the assumption that girls and women are discouraged from excelling at sports. Of course, that's not true. Women and girls aren't discouraged at sports. That's just a fantasy. A lie. The Justice Department has dropped its case against Mayor Eric Adams of New York. It was politically motivated, so it's been dropped. Bribery, fraud, and other counts. But of course, legal experts have questioned the Trump administration's justification because they want to see him prosecuted because he went against the Democrats, even though he's a Democrat. You gotta love it. Anyway, there we go. Close that. All right, cool beans. All right, 295 likes. That's better, guys. Thanks. Okay, Gulf of Mexico in brackets, Gulf of America on Google Maps. How accepting do you think the majority of Americans will be to South America? Wait, I'm sure they'll be fine. Culturally similar to Americans. Okay. It doesn't matter, Skip. Once you have refugee status, if you don't break the law, you don't break the conditions of refugee status before you get permanent residency, you're fine. They can't take it away from you. You can't go back and kick people out of the country because other people are starting to run the country. Yep. Anyway, all right. Thank you for the super chats, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the people that are here. It is now almost 9 o'clock in the morning in South Africa, and it is 1:46 here. I'm going to get to bed. I've got to get up. And I'll be interviewing David and Sarah from the Free Market Foundation at 4 p.m. South Africa time. And so that's what? Another 7 hours from now, okay? And YouTube posts upcoming videos also may boost viewers and drive interactions. Yeah, how do I get them to put that up there, RJ? You're not telling me that. You're just telling me to do it, and you don't tell me how. Olga, we don't know. No one knows. No one could possibly know. You're asking for the unknowable. I don't work at the State Department. Oh, I missed it, RJ. Sorry, my bad. Okay, you have to tell me next time. Yeah, I skipped ahead because everybody kept asking the same questions over and over and over again, and I'm going to hit the rack tonight. Thanks for being here, folks. Come over, clean your crap, and work hard. Exactly. Thank you, Herman. You guys take care. Appreciate it. I'm actually tired now, so I should be able to get some sleep. I'll probably go watch Death in Paradise and fall asleep watching that. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.